Chapter 641. That man was seductively teasing her on the bed. She was looking at him in a daze under him, begging him to give her, begging him to love her. The bubble burst all of a sudden, raising fine, gray-like bubbles. When the bubble burst, seemed to have heard a loud bang. That feeling was unbearable, anxious, disappointed, angry, and disgusted. Why did it burst? Why didn't he continue to let her see those charming scenes? She rubbed her hands together and slowly pulled them apart. She pulled out another big bubble and placed it in her palms. Her heart was filled with that man again. His forehead was covered with sweat from his lust. His shoulders were broad and strong, and his arms were firm and safe. He could hold her back with one hand and keep her away from the bed. His other hand was propped up on the bed, and he was sweating profusely on her body. Ye'er's mouth was still dry, but her tongue was still irritated. She turned on the shower again and adjusted the water to ice cold. When the water hit her body, she didn't feel cold, only itchy and numb. Ye'er felt that she was sick. Lovesickness. Love. Spring sickness. Jiang Zhao had said before that at her age, she could think. It was spring. She hadn't paid attention to Jiang Zhao for a long time, but it shouldn't be like this, right? She sat on the cold floor and felt that she was becoming more and more unprincipled. She had an idea. She wanted a kiss from him, a caress. Yes, a caress would be enough. She didn't want anything else, just a touch. She felt that she didn't dare to touch herself anymore. Once she touched him, she would want to tear herself apart. It didn't matter if she closed her eyes or not. Her mind was filled with Jiang Zhao, and Jiang Zhao. And she actually remembered that time in the Qin palace. He was like a magnificent evil spirit that tore her apart. He was so violent and ruthless as he took her. There were many times when she thought that he had fallen asleep and wanted to leave, but he held her back and tore her apart again. He was like a beast that couldn't be fed. She could only escape when he was tired. Then there were those nights where there was no pain, only pleasure. Ye'er wondered why Jiang Zhao had suddenly become a gentleman. Why didn't he just smash her door open with an axe like that time, then rush in, throw her on the bed, and ravage her violently and cruelly? When Jiang Zhao heard Ye'er rushing up the stairs, he turned off his computer. After Ye'er closed the door, he went to listen for any sounds. Then he returned to his room and took a shower. As he showered, he sang a song. What song should he sing? Anyway, it was fine as long as it was happy. His little Red Riding Hood was now washing white. After taking a shower, Jiang Zhao returned to the bedroom. He opened the drawer of the wall cabinet, took out the DV, and checked the battery. He turned on the DV and placed it on the wall cabinet, directly facing the bed. He lay down on the bed and adjusted it for a while. Then, he stood up and walked to the wall cabinet. He took down the DV, checked the image, deleted it, and restarted it. Everything was ready. He took a book from the bookshelf and lay down on the bed, leisurely waiting for the rabbit to appear. He leaned his head against the soft headboard and flipped through 2 pages of the book. However, he did not manage to read a single word. He touched his hair and touched his face. Finally, it was time to read. He put the book down and took off his t-shirt-style long-sleeved pajamas. Then he took out a set of button-up pajamas from the wardrobe. At first, he felt that the buttons were inconvenient. But now that he thought about it, the buttons were better. What if Ye'er had strong self-control? He did not dare to use too much of the drug, so he put on the pajamas and looked at himself in the mirror. He undid one of the buttons and continued to look at himself. As if he was not satisfied, he undid another button. Just like that, the buttons of the button-up pajamas became decorations. A certain man's posture of reading in bed became bold and unrestrained. He stood on tiptoes and swayed his body, humming a little tune with a spring breeze on his face. The door was deliberately locked. Yi-er really could not stand the feeling of ants crawling all over her body. She was wondering if she should look for a pornographic video website to watch. It would also help alleviate her current situation. Websites were also afraid of being infected with viruses. So she opened the website, opened the bookshelf, and flipped through 2 romance novels to read. She clicked on them with the mouse and remembered that she had read a few chapters of the novels she had read before. Then she clicked on them again. D****. Glaring asterisk. Everywhere there were asterisk. Or some chapters could not be found at all. On the message board, the author posted an announcement at the top: a chapter has been rejected. Those who want to read it, join the Q group. D****. Now that she was in a hurry to read it, who wanted to join the group? It's over, it's over. She had been subjected to abstinence. Now the male and female protagonists in the novel had also been subjected to abstinence. In the kitchen, the sweet soup in the electric pot was ready. Yun Hongwei unplugged it, but he did not call Jiang Zhao. He was not used to going upstairs. When they were about to drink it, he would come down. He also did not want to appear too caring for them. It felt strange. He did not know if it was his imagination, but the relationship between his daughter and son-in-law had been very subtle and strange. He always felt that there was a layer between them. He could see the awkwardness and the conflict between them, but he did not know how serious it was. He just treated it as the young people playing around. When he returned to his room, he looked at the photo frame on the table and felt a sense of satisfaction. His son was growing up, and his daughter was starting a family. He was afraid that in another 2 years, he would be a grandfather. How could there be so much happiness in life? Although Zhou had betrayed him, she had left him with a son and a daughter. He was satisfied. Yi-er was wearing a thin bathrobe. Her hair was still wet and had not dried. She stood outside Jiang Zhao's room and knocked on the door. Jiang Zhao jumped up from the bed excitedly. When he held the door lock, he deliberately coughed to show that he was calm and opened the door. Yi-er saw Jiang Zhao open the door. She suddenly felt that her nose was going to bleed. She touched her nose and took it in front of her. There was no blood. Fortunately, she did not lose her composure. Her eyes stopped at the man's Adam's apple. The Adam's apple moved up and down as if it was swallowing very thirstily. Her gaze slowly moved down. His exposed chest was too sexy. His skin was light wheat. How manly was he? His chest muscles were so well trained. She was not that heavy on fitness equipment, right? It should be easy for him to lift her up, right? Her consciousness was a little unfocused. She reached out and touched the man's chest. After all, women were not like men who were creatures of the lower body, so they had to be more tolerant. When she touched his chest, it was cold. It was not as hot as hers. The difference in temperature made her suddenly pause. She coughed awkwardly and said, "Ahem, it's winter. Aren't you cold wearing this?" Jiang Zhao had no intention of letting Yi-er into the room. He smiled gently and said, "Isn't the temperature in the house constant? It's not cold. Why don't you go to bed early?" I came to talk to you about something." Yi-er was still staring at Jiang Zhao's chest. As she stared, she swallowed hard. Oh no, she wanted to pounce on him. "Oh, come in." Jiang Zhao generously made way for Yi-er. After Yi-er entered the room, she did not know whether to stand or sit. Her whole body was uncomfortable, but there was a reserved sense of shame that tugged at her forcefully, telling her that they were still in a cold war. A cold war. Jiang Zhao came out of the bathroom and took a dry towel. He pressed Yi-er to sit by the bed. He wrapped the towel in her hair and slowly dried it. Why didn't you blow-dry your hair? This woman was really too much. If she didn't blow-dry her hair at night, wouldn't she be waiting to catch a cold? Seriously. I forgot. Let's go and blow-dry your hair. Although Jiang Zhao wanted to eat Yi Er clean, he felt that blow-drying her hair was more important. He pulled Yi Er up and walked to the bathroom. He turned on the blow-dryer and carefully dried the woman's long hair. Jiang Zhao had not blow-dried Yi Er's hair before, so he felt that it was a little interesting. However, Yi Er's mind was not on her hair at all. She looked at the man in the mirror, who was looking at her hair with unparalleled focus. Her gaze landed on the man's handsome features, his sexy chest, his long and slender fingers, and his tanned skin. The sound of the blow-dryer was really annoying. Her heart was already on fire, and the wind was blowing the fire in her heart even more fiercely. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao in the mirror. She had already stripped him clean with her eyes, and he was completely naked in front of her. Jiang Zhao had just hung up the blow-dryer when Yi Er turned around to help him button his clothes. Yi Er knew that her nose was bleeding, but she could not help but persist. When she persisted, she could not help but fantasize. Even when she was buttoning his clothes, she was unwilling to do so. Just as Jiang Zhao grabbed Yi Er's hand, Yi Er was done for. Yin Yi, didn't you have something to talk to me about? Jiang Zhao held Yi Er's hand and wrapped it in his palm. He gently caressed and slowly rubbed it, until the woman's eyes were filled with intense passion. Oh, Yi Er's voice was not correct, and neither was her voice. This sound seemed to be squeezed out from her lungs, not from her throat. When this "oh" was squeezed out from her lungs, it did not go through her mouth often. Most of it went into her nasal cavity, and from there, the sound was weakened and transmitted out. Such a soft and seductive voice stimulated Jiang Zhao to tremble. It was as if something was forcefully poured into his ears, causing his hair to stand on end. It was not fear, but an uncontrollable impulse. Jiang Zhao thought to himself, bear with it, bear with it. He pulled Yi Er to the bedroom and said seriously, Yun Yi, why are you looking for me? No, nothing. Yi Er shook her head. If she did not pounce on Jiang Zhao soon, she would burn into charcoal. Then I'll send you home. As he spoke, he hugged Yi Er and planted a kiss on her forehead. Rest early. This was bad. Something big had happened. Yi Er reached out and hugged Jiang Zhao's waist. I can't sleep, don't you sleep early at night? Why don't you read a book? I can't sleep even if I read a book, it would have been better if Yi Er did not hug Jiang Zhao. Now that she hugged him, she could not let go at all. It was as if she was being sucked in. It was so hot that she wanted to cool off on his body. Then what should I do to make you sleep? I think. Yi Er felt embarrassed. She was the one who started the Cold War, but in the end, she was the one who jumped out first and wanted to skin Jiang Zhao and eat him up. This question was still echoing in her mind when she pushed him onto the bed. As she stroked the man's chest, Yi Er panted and said hurriedly, Aren't you hot? Let me help you take off your clothes. Jiang Zhao tugged at his clothes, looking confused. I'm not hot. Even though it's not cold at home, it's not hot either. I think it's quite hot. Take it off. You'll get sick from the heat. It's really not hot. Jiang Zhao, what's wrong with you here? Yi Er pointed at Jiang Zhao's crotch and laughed sinisterly. Jiang Zhao's face immediately turned red. Go back to your room and sleep. Stop touching my body. Take it off, take it off. Didn't you say you were going to ignore me? Why are you taking off my clothes again? Jiang Zhao placed his hand on Yi Er's butt and pinched it hard. Yi Er couldn't take Jiang Zhao's pinch. At this moment, she couldn't take it anymore and didn't want to take it anymore. Since he had already eaten, then so be it. Of course, why would I ignore you? We're husband and wife. Isn't it normal for us to take off our clothes and sleep together? Jiang Zhao was delighted. He reached out and undid the belt of his thin robe. Yunyi, you can't just think about your lower body, right? You can't say things so casually. You have to admit it. Yes, I admit it. At this moment, Yi felt like she had finally become a beast. She didn't care anymore. She couldn't care about anything. She had to put out the fire first. She would agree to anything he said. Jiang Zhao glanced at the camcorder on the bookshelf from the corner of his eye. He grabbed Yi's hand that was reaching down to his lower body. He resisted the urge and asked seriously, "You're not getting a divorce anymore?" Yi gritted her teeth. A beauty was right in front of her. "I'm not getting a divorce anymore." After speaking, she lunged at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao covered Yi's mouth. He took a deep breath and continued to ask, "You're not going to separate rooms anymore?" Yi's mouth was covered, but her hand wasn't. She felt that this man's figure was very good. It would be good to touch him a little more. Separate rooms? Forget it, forget it. I'll touch him first. What's there to separate? No. Then let me hear you call me hubby. Hubby, hubby, good hubby, Jiang Zhao responded gently. He flipped over and pressed her down. Honey, you said it yourself. If we don't get a divorce, we won't separate rooms. You can't deny it even if you want to. We won't separate anymore, hubby. Hubby. The next day, Jiang Zhao went to his office in a relaxed and happy mood. The moment he entered, he saw Lu Qing giving him a look. He glanced at where Lu Qing was looking and saw Ouyangxing sitting on the sofa in the guest room. He looked like a big boss. You look like one. He nodded at Lu Qing and gestured for him to close the door. Jiang Zhao reached out and brushed the dust off the hem of his suit. Sir. Ouyangxing turned his head. When he saw Jiang Zhao, he stood up and acted like a veteran. Zhao Zhao, you've been very busy recently. Of course I've been very busy. Jiang Zhao sat down on the other sofa and deliberately said sarcastically, Sir, you're looking more and more radiant. Your body is getting healthier. As expected, Ouyangxing's expression changed. He had just been discharged from the hospital 2 days ago. Qin Rongfang had visited him. Although Jiang Zhao didn't visit him, it was impossible that he hadn't heard about it. This brat was looking down on him more and more. Now the medical standards are high, and the lifespan of the elderly is longer. I'm afraid he won't die anytime soon. Jiang Zhao stood up and poured a cup of water in a disposable paper cup. He handed it to Ouyangxing and laughed as if he was joking. People will die sooner or later. I understand. Ouyangxing had just been discharged from the hospital. He was so angry that he wanted to be hospitalized again because of Jiang Zhao's actions and words. Qin Rongfang liked tea, and so did Jiang Zhao. Therefore, there was a high-end tea set in the reception area of Jiang Zhao's office. Jiang Zhao didn't boil water for him. Instead, he poured him a cup of water from the water dispenser. He knew that he had just learned about it from the hospital, but he actually said that people would die sooner or later. Ouyangxing knew that Jiang Zhao didn't give him face, so he didn't need to be polite to Jiang Zhao. He said coldly, I'm here to ask you something today. I want to verify with you. Beauty novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 642. Jiang Zhao was suspicious, but he didn't point it out. His attitude towards Ouyangxing couldn't be more obvious. Qin Rongfang had tried to persuade him at first, but now he was too lazy to say anything. How much do you know about Hiping? Ouyangxing finally asked. I'm not very interested in his affairs. Jiang Zhao thought to himself. If he wanted to use He Ping's back door, wouldn't it be better to ask his father? His father had a stronger relationship with him, and it was easier for the older generation to talk to him. Why did he come here to ask him? Do you have a deep opinion of family Ouyang now? Ouyang Xing let out a deep breath and stared at Jiang Zhao without blinking. Jiang Zhao met his gaze, but he was calm and composed, without the slightest hint of nervousness. Slowly, he pursed his lips and couldn't help but smile. Fourth Master, everyone is talking about family Ouyang. You also know that with my identity here, I should avoid arousing suspicion. Jiang Zhao's punishment could be said to be killing two birds with one stone. First, it hurt Ouyang Xing's vitality. Second, once Ouyang Xing got involved with those filthy places, the Ouyang Yan incident could no longer be linked to him. It was impossible under any circumstances. Not to mention that the Qin and Jiang families didn't agree to divorce so easily. Even if they forced him to divorce, they couldn't let him marry into family Ouyang. The background of an underground casino was not something that a politician should be involved with. Avoid arousing suspicion. Ouyang Xing's withered palms rested on his knees, the white of his fingernails showing his strength. Do you not want to take responsibility for Yun Yun? Do you think you can avoid arousing suspicion just because you want to? Responsibility. Jiang Zhao knew that this matter couldn't be let go so easily, but when it was mentioned, there was still a flickering flame in his consciousness that burned very quickly. Don't say that nothing happened between us. Even if something did happen, I can't take responsibility for her. Do you think I don't know that you've drugged me and set me up? Don't talk about responsibility. Even if you ask me to compensate you with money, I won't do it. I feel like I've suffered more losses. Jiang Zhao. Ouyang Xing abruptly stood up. Suddenly, he felt his blood rushing to his head and could not stand steadily. He realized that his illness was acting up again. Yun Yun has been in a relationship with you before. How dare you say that you want to compensate her? How dare you say that you're at a disadvantage? Am I not at a disadvantage? Jiang Zhao was still sitting on the sofa. He crossed his legs and tilted his head to look at Ouyang Xing. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly as he smiled. Don't you think that I'm the one at a disadvantage? I'm married. My wife divorced me because of this matter. My grandparents got ready in the middle of the night and rushed to High City early the next morning because of your call. Most importantly, my grandmother has always been afraid of flying. Because of my wife's divorce, my work efficiency has decreased and my quality of life has decreased. Is this not serious enough? Tell me, what did you guys lose? Is Ouyang Yan's family in danger of falling apart because of this? Who do you think is at a disadvantage? Even if I have to compensate, I think it should be you, the person who set us up, who should compensate me. What responsibility do you want me to take? Yun Yun said that you would wait for her to come back. Jiang Zhao, you're a traitor. Literally, I said that I would wait for her to come back. Aren't all of you waiting for her to come back? My original words were that no matter where she goes, High City will always be her home. We will all wait for her to come back. Did I say anything wrong? You. Fourth Master, do you have anything else to say besides this? Jiang Zhao started to use honorifics again, but this also proved that he was alienating him. Jiang Zhao, tell me clearly. Did you do something behind He Ping's matter? Ouyang Xing exhaled and sat down again. He was almost angered by this brat because of his granddaughter. Jiang Zhao laughed heartily. Me? What can I do? When this news was released, I was shocked. I did not know that Fourth Master has such a powerful background. You had gambled a few $100 million in one night. How much money did you get? How many people will be jealous of you? It's not you. Do you think I am only a deputy mayor and have such capabilities? Jiang Zhao belittled himself. Yang Xing snorted. What's impossible? It was too difficult for him to not suspect Jiang Zhao. He remembered the look in Jiang Zhao's eyes when he carried Yunyi away that day. It was clear that there was hatred and vengeance in his eyes. If Jiang Zhao wanted revenge, then it was reasonable that the casino was destroyed, but Jiang Zhao had no reason to know. For a businessman like you, you should be close to the Public Security Bureau. Fourth Master, is it because you did not distribute your shares evenly? Jiang Zhao started to mislead Feng Yu. Of course, Yang Xing had considered this as well. Are you trying to be bureaucratic with me? No need for that. During that period, I was busy comforting Madam and did not even have time to deal with you. Yang Xing was furious when he saw Jiang Zhao's attitude. In the past, whenever Jiang Zhao looked at him or called him, he would be very polite. He would call him fourth grandpa, affectionately. Now, he directly drew a line and openly confronted him. How could he not be on guard against such a person? I won't let go of Yunyun's matter. Jiang Zhao, you'd better listen to the family Ouyang's arrangement. Yunye's family is not good for your future. Get rid of that burden. The marriage between you and Yunyun is the most suitable choice for the two powerful families. Yang Xing's sense of superiority was fully revealed from his words. Jiang Zhao stood up and stretched out his hand, meaning to shake hands with Yang Xing. Yang Xing was delighted, thinking that Jiang Zhao had thought it through. Just as he was about to praise him, he did not expect Jiang Zhao to say something so serious that Yang Xing could not accept it. Fourth Master, in any case, I have a public position. With a monthly welfare package and a bonus, I will be well off. Even if I'm a prodigal son of a wealthy family, I won't be able to squander my mother's money in a short time. Even if I'm a useless prodigal son and can't support my wife and father-in-law, the Jiang and Qin families can support me. I won't even be short of breath. So from my point of view, I really don't feel that the Yun family is a burden. It's too easy. Yang Xing looked at Jiang Zhao's hands, which were intertwined with his, and suddenly understood. It turned out that Jiang Zhao was sending him off. If you don't get a divorce, I will also post the photos of you sleeping on Yunyun's bed. Jiang Zhao had thought of this before. Qin Rongfang had told him not to go against Yang Xing because Yang Xing had photos of him and Yang Yan sleeping together. The reason why he didn't make a fuss about this matter was because he was afraid that Yi would take offense. It was fine if he didn't bring it up usually, but whenever he did, Yi would explode. However, if something had already happened and there was no turning back, he had already thought of the worst outcome. His hand was still holding Yang Xing's. The corners of his mouth curled up, and the corner of his left eye narrowed. Fourth Master, hurry up and post it. The sooner this matter spreads, the sooner it will end. You just want to make me unable to be the deputy mayor. I will not be the deputy mayor. I will not be the deputy mayor. In the future, I will still be able to support my wife and children. At most, I will lose my position. But I will never get a divorce. I will never marry Yang Yan. You should be prepared today. I will also be prepared to post your photos to every corner of Haiqing. When Yi woke up, it was already 9:30 am. Yun Hongwei had never woken up Jiang Zhao and Yi. That's why Yi slept until 12 am. She will not wake up unless there is an alarm. She touched her body, legs, and arms. Her whole body was sore. She felt that turning over was harder than running 5,000 meters. She slowly opened her eyes and quickly opened them. The furnishings in this room were shocking. This was not her room. It was Jiang Zhao's room. The events of yesterday became clearer and clearer in her mind. The sleepless night had caused her to be unable to move her legs. Furthermore, it wasn't Jiang Zhao who was squeezing her, but she was the one who was squeezing Jiang Zhao. She rewound her memory. She remembered that he would always tell her in a shocked tone, "Darling, you are awesome today." In fact, Jiang Zhao rarely called her darling or darling intimately in bed. Unless he was so satisfied that he could not help but say, "Ah, my little sweetheart, you are killing me." She did not know how satisfied Jiang Zhao must have been to call her darling in such a mushy way. Yi Er covered her face. Even though there was no one in the room, she was too embarrassed to raise her head. What kind of mentality did she have when she ate Jiang Zhao dry yesterday? It was hard to believe how thirsty she was. Thirsty. Indeed, she was so thirsty yesterday. Drinking glass after glass of water was useless. Even cold water was useless. Other than those images, there was nothing else in her mind. She suddenly felt that it was very strange. She knew that no matter how much she loved Jiang Zhao, it was not necessary for her to do that. She thought about the color of her skin at that time. She stood in the bathroom and looked at her eyes and cheeks in the mirror. She was full of desire and her face was red. How could a person change like this so suddenly? She suddenly quivered. That time when she went to threaten Jiang Zhao, he also changed suddenly after drinking the glass of water. Last night, Jiang Zhao gave her a glass of water to drink. After that, she was thirsty and her mouth was dry. Jiang Zhao. It must be him. That cheap man. She must find him and get even. She was naked, not even wearing underwear. She put on her nightgown. She was crazy. In this weather, she actually took out her nightgown. She jumped out of bed and saw a letter on the bedside table. The handwriting on the letter was strong and powerful. Dear Yunyi, I have already contacted someone to help you supervise the renovation of the dance studio. You don't have to go there today. Don't go there in the future. It's noisy and dirty. I will arrange it. If you have nothing to do, read a book. Don't forget that you have class in the afternoon. Love, Zhao. This was the first time she had received a letter from him. The size of the letter was only the size of a man's palm. The background was a green bamboo that was faintly reflected on the edge of the letter. She had never seen such handwriting before. She didn't know if it was Dear Yunyi in front or Love, Zhao in the back. Anyway, she felt that her vision was a little blurry. During this period of time, he had told her many times that he loved her. Every time she sent him to work, after he planted a kiss on her forehead, he would always say softly, Yunyi, I love you. If she could turn back time, it would be a wonderful thing. After putting the letter back, Yi Er tidied the bed and left Jiang Zhao's room. Beauty novel, Hongcha 866. Chapter 643. Yi Er went to class in the university town, which was much more peaceful than before. The hairstylist also lowered his head when he saw her. He didn't show off his LV or Cartier in front of her like he used to. Yi Er thought that he probably knew who her husband was, so he was being polite. She didn't know that the hairstylist couldn't even work for 15 yuan anymore. He could only do it at home to save money. The family business was hard to run and his pocket money was so deducted that he couldn't use it to pick up girls. Men always wanted to save face. They really didn't want to be embarrassed in front of the girl they liked. When Yi Er was in the university town, she always ate with Xia Qian. Xia Qian was going to start her internship next year. The two found a relatively empty table in the cafeteria and sat down. Yi Er, what do you think of me? Xia Qian took a sip of soup. Pretty good. Yi Er didn't lie. She thought Xia Qian was pretty good. Xiaoye was also very good. I mean, what do you think of me as a host? Ah. Yi felt that she was being rather unprofessional. In the past, she didn't even need to draft a script when she saw Jiang Zhao lying. But now, when she was facing Xia Qian, she was conflicted. It wasn't just a normal kind of conflicted. How should she say, "I think you can definitely do it well"? If she became a host in the future and didn't do well, she would scold her and say that she chose to be a host because of her. But if she said, "Impossible." If she went into another industry and didn't do well, she would still scold her and say that she didn't become a host because of her. If she became a host, she would definitely be popular. Xia Qian, this idiot, could definitely say these words. She was also afraid of being scolded by Xia Qian. Yun Yi. You're not loyal. Xia Qian snorted and threw a piece of braised pork into her mouth. She chewed it with relish. How am I not loyal? Xia Qian finally had a piece of meat in her stomach. Let me put it this way. I want to develop my career as a host. Do you support me? Yi slapped his thigh and said generously, "Of course, as your friend, I will support you no matter what decision you make. If you have a dream, then go ahead and do it. I will support you no matter if you succeed or fail. Well, it's worth it to have a friend like you." Yes. Xia Qian scooped up a spoonful of tomato and egg soup and said generously, "Cheers." Yi was already used to it. He also scooped up a spoonful of tomato and egg soup. Their spoons touched. Cheers. The two of them picked up their spoons and drank the tomato and egg soup in one gulp. But as soon as he drank it, Yi wanted to spit it out. Xia Qian said, "Then tell Jiang Zhao tonight and ask him to arrange an internship for me at the TV station." Pfft, Yi really wanted to spit out the soup. Aw. Why do you want to look for Jiang Zhao? It wasn't that she didn't want to. Firstly, it wasn't the right time for her and Jiang Zhao to talk about this. Secondly, she was afraid that Jiang Zhao would owe too many favors outside. Her father's matter was already very difficult to handle. Xia Qian's mouth twitched. Didn't you just say that you would support me? Yes, I said that I would support you. That's why I asked you to support me. You found Jiang Zhao and I entered the TV station. This is the best support. Qian, I said that I would support you spiritually. I didn't ask you to support me physically. Yi said, "Even if you want my body, I can't give it to you." Are you saying that you're messing with me? Are you just trying to show off your glib tongue? What do you mean spiritually? Are you trying to trick a 3-year-old child? Who doesn't know how to talk big? Is this how friends do things? It's fine if you don't have the resources, but even if you have the resources, you won't help me. Xia Qian began to display her expertise as a media person. Do you think it's easy for me? I'm already so old, but I only have one best friend other than my sister. I even treated you sincerely. When you were pestered by a hooligan, with one phone call, I came all the way here to save you and bring you from the darkness to the light. When you were hospitalized, I visited you every day. I even found music for you and taught you which songs and which dances to which. I don't know how to dance, so I just looked for information online and told you when I found something. I just hoped that you would wake up soon. Those who didn't know better would think that I fell in love with a lesbian. Has your conscience been eaten by dogs? Yi screamed in her heart. She really couldn't afford to be hurt. Going from one door to another in the university town was like trekking through mountains and rivers. Who would dare to argue with a media person? However, she really remembered how Xia Qian and Xiaoyu treated her when she was hospitalized. The soft parts of her heart were always touched. Okay. I'll go back and talk to my husband tonight. But I can't guarantee that it'll work, Xia Qian interrupted her. Whether it works or not depends on your sincerity. Damn it. Yi Er's teeth were itching. Was this girl looking for a job or trying to persuade her to drink? Why don't you look for your sister? Your sister is very capable. Xia Qian shook her head and scooped rice into her spoon. I think it's time for me to be independent. I'm already so old, but I rely on my sister for everything. I feel very guilty. With that, she put a spoonful of rice into her mouth and chewed. Yi Er told herself that she couldn't lower herself to Xia Qian's level. She had to maintain a normal heart. However, she couldn't help but say, "You've become independent from your sister, and now you're looking for someone to rely on. When are you going to become independent from me?" Wait until I find someone to rely on. God, please give Xia Qian a person to rely on. Amen. Yi Er began to pray sincerely. Xia Qian snorted, "See, I only asked you for a favor and you're already trying to get rid of me. Can I still count on you in the future?" Yi Er rolled her eyes at Xia Qian. Jiang Zhao adjusted his schedule and said that he had something to deal with in advance. In fact, he was going to the university to pick up Yi Er from school. Yi Er already drove. In front of Xia Qian, she said that she would drive back so that it wouldn't be inconvenient for her to go to school tomorrow morning. Unexpectedly, Xia Qian quickly said to Jiang Zhao, "Take Yi Er home. Ask Yi Er to give me the keys. I'll drive the car to 9th Mansion. I'll throw my bicycle in the trunk and ride it back. I have to ride it every day anyway." Yi Er said, "Huh?" She looked at Xia Qian in surprise. She didn't dare let Xia Qian drive the car. Unexpectedly, Jiang Zhao agreed to Xia Qian's request. Yi Er got into Jiang Zhao's car but sat in the back. Jiang Zhao was disappointed. Did their relationship not improve after what happened last night? "Wifey, let's go watch a movie after dinner." "Who are you calling wifey? I told you not to call me that." Yi Er rolled her eyes at the man driving the car and continued to look out the window. Jiang Zhao's passion was like a fire being poured with a bucket of cold water, but he continued to pull the wind and reignited the fire. "Of course I'm calling you. Who else do you think I'm calling? There's only one woman named Yunyi on my marriage certificate. Aren't you Yunyi?" Yi Er knew that she was drugged last night. But she didn't want to expose this layer of paper. "I can't be bothered with you. Stay away from me in the future. Even if you can't be bothered with me, you still have to care." Jiang Zhao hummed a little. "Last night, you promised me that you wouldn't get a divorce, that you wouldn't ignore me, and that you wouldn't live separately from me. That's why I'm with you." Jiang Zhao. At first, Yi Er only felt awkward in her heart, but now, she had completely turned into an angry little lion. Jiang Zhao's words were to remind her that she had forced herself on him last night, and he had been forced to have sex with her because of those tempting conditions. But the main culprit was him. "You called me hubby last night. Why are you so fierce now?" Jiang Zhao clearly felt that he couldn't be as petty as Yi Er. In any case, she had to admit it even if she didn't want to. He had evidence. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Yi Er knew that because of the drug, she had been forced to cry out like a kitten last night in order to squeeze Jiang Zhao dry. Calling him hubby made her tremble all over. "Let me tell you, Yunyi, you told me before, you admit it. Don't try to deny it now. When you rushed into my room, pressed me down on the bed, and took off my clothes, why didn't you talk to me with such an attitude?" Jiang Zhao. "You still have the face. You drugged me. Do you think I don't know if I don't say anything? I originally wanted to leave some face for you, but now you don't want any face at all. If you don't want it, then don't want it. I can't be bothered to leave it for you. I don't understand what you're talking about." Although there was a sense of awkwardness from being seen through, Jiang Zhao had more experience than Yi Er, so he concealed his emotions rather quickly. What drug? Yi Er leaned against the back of the back seat and crossed her arms. Jiang Zhao, stop acting. I know everything. How despicable are you? I ignored you, so you drugged me. If you have the ability, do it again. If you give me this drug again, I'll go out and find another man to cure me. You dare. I dare. Try it if you don't believe me. I'm not going to try. I don't care about such despicable methods. Jiang Zhao thought to himself. Just because he didn't care about despicable methods, it didn't mean that he wouldn't use them. I won't pursue what happened last night. Don't try to take a mile after taking an inch. Yi Er, you said that I drugged you. Show me some evidence. If you don't have evidence, don't slander me like this. The two of them quarreled all the way home. At night, Jiang Zhao barged into Yi Er's bedroom with his pillow. Yi Er said in surprise, "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to sleep." Jiang Zhao threw the pillow on the bed confidently, lifted the blanket, and went to sleep. As soon as he fell asleep, he hugged his wife and wrapped his legs around Yi Er. Finally, he closed his eyes and fell asleep. No matter how much Yi Er pinched, twisted, or pushed him, the man slept like a pig as if he had been drugged with sleeping pills. Jiang Zhao, if you don't go back to your room to sleep, I'll go out to look for a place to stay tomorrow and won't come back. Jiang Zhao immediately rubbed his eyes and sat up as if he had just woken up. He got out of bed and left the room in a few steps. Yi Er sighed and was about to get out of bed and close the door when Jiang Zhao came in with a digital camcorder. He took out the card inside and inserted it into the computer on the table for Yi Er to see. Then he burrowed under the blanket again and poked his head out. He said, Yi Er, take a look for yourself. What did you promise me last night when you wanted to sleep with me? I reminded you not to think with your lower body. What did you say? You said you would admit it. If you didn't say you wouldn't divorce me. You said you wouldn't separate from me. Yi Er would have been better off if she hadn't seen it. The moment she saw that extremely restrictive scene, her whole body heated up. Oh my God, this guy actually recorded it. Did he have any shame? Did he still have any shame? How could he have the nerve to record something like this? Welfare, Songshu 566. Chapter 644. Yi Er wanted to crawl under the bed and hide under the bed. Jiang Zhao couldn't take it anymore. Although he was exhausted last night, the scene was replaying now. The scene was revisited, and the scene was replaying in his mind. He sighed. Honey, let's go to sleep. When he heard the sound from the computer suddenly stop, he thought Yi Er was going to turn off the computer and go to sleep. But when he got up, he saw that the computer was deleting. He jumped up from the bed, hugged the computer, and hid by the door. He didn't click on the confirmation button and immediately exited. It wasn't easy for him to get this result. How could it be deleted just like that? What a pity. It was such a shocking video. Jiang Zhao ejected the memory card from the computer and put the computer on Yi Er's dressing table. Honey, let's go to sleep. Jiang Zhao, come and sleep. If you dare to sleep in my bed tonight, I promise to go out and look for a place to live tomorrow. Anyway, this house is a wolf's den. Who knows what you'll do to me next day? Yi Er got on the bed and laid down. Come and sleep. Jiang Zhao heard Yi Er's calm tone, and his heart tightened. He couldn't be thick-skinned anymore. He squeezed the memory card in his hand and said, "Good night." Then he turned and walked out the door. Jiang Zhao returned to his room. He lay on the bed and couldn't fall asleep. Love a person needs how long? Hate a person needs how long? From love to hate a person needs how long? After hate, will you continue to love? The room was very quiet. He turned off almost all the electrical appliances, and the doors and windows were closed. But his watch was on the bedside table. The sound of the mechanical gears was infinitely amplified in his ears. It was like a big gear in a big processing plant making an unpleasant sound. It felt like someone was stuck in the gears. The gears kept turning, and the person was crushed into a bloody mess, screaming in pain. He didn't understand why he would think of such a scene. Just as he said to Ouyang Xing, his work and life were greatly affected because of that incident. He had to think about how to make Yi laugh almost every day. Human nature was not like this, but it had to be like this. He didn't know how much he loved her, but he knew that she hated him. Now, he was like a person standing outside a large gear, feeling like someone was going to push him in. That bloody and mangled appearance was really disgusting. He started to hate himself. I hate myself now. Southern Family Garden. Jolie was applying her makeup in front of the mirror. Yuan Shichang stood behind her and held her shoulder. Shaoli, there's hope. His words were full of emotion and relief. Oh. The family Ouyang servants released some shocking news. Your daughter caught Jiang Zhao in bed and even hit the Ouyang Yen. Her face was so swollen that she still hasn't gone to work. It's not surprising that no one knows about Ouyang Xing's nephew, but have you thought about it? If this matter gets out, Jiang Zhao will be forced to divorce. Moreover, if he gets involved with the family Ouyang, who has a background in the casino, Jiang Zhao's future will be affected. I don't have to be too afraid of him. Yuan Shichang was very excited as he described it vividly, but Jolie was already having a variety of expressions. Caught in bed. You're saying that Jiang Zhao has another woman behind Yi's back. You don't know, right? Why would your daughter tell you about this? She doesn't even treat you as her mother. Jolie's heart was filled with bitterness. She wanted Yi to get a divorce, but when she heard Yuan Shichang say that Jiang Zhao had an affair, she felt sad for Yi. Before she could apply the lotion on her face, she stood up, picked up a fur coat and her bag, and got ready to go out. Where are you going? Jolie had already reached the entrance and changed into her favorite high heels. They were a magic weapon that could add points to her temperament. I'm going to 9th Mansion. It's the middle of the night. Yuan Shichang was very unhappy. Don't tell me you're going to see Yin Hongwei. Don't think too much. Just as Jiang Zhao was tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep, he received a text message from Yi. Jiang Zhao, don't do those things to me in the future. Give each other some freedom and let me liberate myself, okay? If you don't let me forget about that matter and rush to be with me again, it won't do either of us any good. I'll always be bothered and can't let it go. Actually, I really want to let it go, but I need time. Jiang Zhao looked at the text message and saw what she said. Actually, I really want to let it go too. Actually, she wanted to let it go too, but she couldn't. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, I won't interfere with you anymore. Do whatever you want to do, no matter what. I'll wait for you to come back. Jiang Zhao sent this text message, deleted it, and changed it. It took him nearly half an hour. He wanted to be strong and domineering. He wanted to say that he wouldn't allow it. But when it came to things like standing, it was never clear. He was the one in the wrong now. He had no position or right. What he needed was to give her time and beg for her forgiveness. The doorbell downstairs rang continuously. Yi knew that her father would open the door, but she still got out of bed. When Jiang Zhao heard Yi open the door, he also got out of bed. Yun Hongwei looked at Jolie at the door. His mouth opened, but he didn't say anything in the end. He let out a soft, trembling sigh. Mom. Jiang Zhao and Yi walked to the door together. Jiang Zhao spoke first. Mom, come in and have a seat. Yun Hongwei didn't say anything and made way for Jolie. The moment Jolie entered the door, she didn't even take off her high heels. She stood in the shoe-changing area, one hand gripping her bag tightly while the other was stretched out. She raised her head and slapped Jiang Zhao's face harshly. "You're so shameless." Yi Er quickly grabbed Jiang Zhao, touched his face, and shouted, "Mom." Yi Er was a little angry. His mother knew that Jiang Zhao wouldn't fight back, but she still hit him so hard. Jiang Zhao was stunned. At the same time, he saw the fire in Jolie's eyes and vaguely felt something. Yun Hongwei was shocked. He grabbed Jolie. Jolie pushed Yun Hongwei away and glared at him. She roared fiercely, "Yun Hongwei, you're useless. You didn't even leave money for your daughter when you went to jail. You couldn't afford to raise your daughter, so you made her work at a nightclub to earn money to run your lawsuit. She didn't divorce a man who was caught in bed with her. Isn't it all because of you? Because of you, this burden. Because of you, your daughter had to swallow her anger when she married a man. Because she had to rely on your position as her son-in-law to feed you. You caused your daughter to be so miserable. If it weren't for someone telling me that Jiang Zhao slept with Ouyang Yan, and this Yi Er ran over to make a fuss and even hit Ouyang Yan, I still wouldn't know about this. You'd still be living with them every day. Do you have a conscience? You're staying outside to eat and drink. Do you have a conscience? Can you eat and sleep?" Jiang Zhao only felt a loud bang in his head. It was a loud bang that blew up his nerves. Yi Er hurriedly hugged Yun Hongwei, who was about to collapse, and cried out in grief, "Mom! Shut up! Jolie! Go away! You shut up!" Jiang Zhao returned to his senses. He took a large step forward and used even more strength to support Yun Cheng's body. Yun Hongwei felt like he couldn't breathe or breathe. His chest was blocked by a surging, metallic stench that wanted to rush out like magma. The pain was so intense that he felt like his life was about to end. At this time, he felt that the tears that flowed out of his eyes would definitely be bright red. He never thought that his existence would cause his daughter to live so bitterly. Yun Hongwei struggled to pry open Jiang Zhao's hands. Looking into his eyes were filled with pain that made him wish he was dead, but his voice was already weak. "Jiang Zhao, I'm begging you. Divorce Yi Er. I'm begging you." Fresh blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Like a plum blossom blooming in winter, it dripped onto the bright and clean floor tiles of the chute-changing area. The smell of blood suddenly filled the air, causing Yi Er to cry like a madman. This was the second time Yun Hongwei had been hospitalized after being released from prison. Both times, it was due to excessive stimulation. However, Yi Er understood that there was only one person who could give her father this kind of stimulation. That person was her mother, Jolie. A person's unbearable heartache for another person was because they cared. Her father cared about her mother's every word. While those words added fuel to the fire of her past suffering, they also expressed her mother's serious contempt and disdain for her father. Her father cared about the pain she had suffered in the past. Catch the traitor in bed. There was no need to say anything else that hurt his self-esteem. This was enough to make a father grieve. No man could accept his own daughter being a prostitute, and the purpose of being a prostitute was to help him run a lawsuit. No matter how dignified a man was, he would still be suppressed by these words. Hearing the sound of the ambulance again, smelling the smell of disinfectant that she had inhaled because of her father, Yi Er stared blankly at Jolie in the quiet and eerie corridor outside the resuscitation room. She didn't let Jolie leave. She let Jiang Zhao forcefully drag Jolie to the hospital. Yi Er pulled Jolie from Jiang Zhao's arms. Jiang Zhao held Yi Er's arm and said, "Yun Yi, calm down, okay? Dad will be fine." Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao and shook her head gently. Ah, Zhao, don't come over. I want to talk to my mom. Jiang Zhao let go of her hand. He was so annoyed that he wanted to go to the corridor to smoke a cigarette, but he didn't dare to turn around. He only nodded at Yi Er. Go ahead. I won't go over. Yi Er dragged Zhou out of the resuscitation room with great force. Zhou was even a little scared. She had been scared when she saw Yun Hongwei vomiting blood and falling to the ground. Yi Er's tears kept welling up in her eyes, but she didn't let the tears that symbolized weakness escape her eyes. She looked into Zhou eyes and saw the pain of struggling, but the corners of her lips curled up. Mom, when Dad vomited blood, it must have been very nice to watch, right? It was so exciting, wasn't it? You must think that this was the most meticulous and soul-stirring performance you've ever seen in your life, right? A man who has loved you for so many years finally had his pride hurt by you. He was beaten so badly that he couldn't even raise his head. You must feel a great sense of accomplishment, right? Look, he's inside. There must be a lot of tubes inserted. It's all thanks to you. Zhou had never seen Yi Er like this. Yi Er had always been unreasonable since she was young, so she still respected her parents. At this moment, she saw that Yi Er's eyes were filled with disgust for her. Those words were filled with deep disdain. Zhou suddenly felt that her heart was a little empty. Yi Er, Mom didn't do it on purpose. Mom heard about what happened to Jiang Zhao and got angry in a moment of anger. No matter how much resentment Jiang Zhao had in his heart, Zhou was still his mother-in-law. At a time like this, he could only listen to Yi Er. Yi Er said to take Zhou to the hospital, so he did as he was told. Yi Er said to catch Zhou. He didn't allow her to leave, so he did as he was told. Yi Er didn't want him to go over and stand by her side, so he could only do as he was told. Awesome novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 645. However, the fear and uneasiness in her heart grew stronger and stronger. It was as if her heartbeat had been placed in a secret dark room. The sound echoed loudly in the dark area, creating a terrifying rhythm that made one's heart and soul tremble. Looking at Yi Er's expression, perhaps only he knew what Yun Hongwei, Si Jia, and Yi Er meant to her. Yi Er had always hoped to have a family with her family. She had said before that she wanted to have a family, she needed that little bit of warmth to penetrate her. She wanted to get back the things she had lacked in the past, the life she had lost when she was 17 years old. Those were very important to her, and they would make her feel at ease. Angry. Yi Er's spirit seemed to have suffered a huge blow. She hugged Zhou's shoulders tightly. She was very tall, and Zhou was not necessarily taller than her even though she was wearing high heels. Instead of hugging her shoulders, it was more accurate to say that she was tightly strangling her. Mom. Yi Er chuckled. Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed to say, Mom didn't do it on purpose to me? Do you feel at ease when the word Mom comes out of your mouth? You asked if Dad has a conscience. What about you? What right do you have? Yi Er bent her back and rested her head on Zhou's shoulder. She pressed her lips against the side of Zhou's face, who was already trembling slightly. She moved closer to Zhou's ear, and her voice was filled with hatred. There were 2 doors to the emergency room. The upper half was made of glass, and there was a curtain on the inside. At this moment, the 2 women were standing together. Their faces were so close that their images were reflected on the glass of the curtain. Zhou was afraid of Yi Er like this. Actually, Yi Er was just being naughty, but she was very filial to her parents. There was no lack of good things in the rich, but every time she received a gift from someone, she would never forget to share it with her parents. Zhou was trembling slightly. Right. Sorry. Are you saying it to me? Or are you saying it to yourself? That's funny. Actually, I just want to ask you. Just now at my house, what right do you have to talk about my dad like that? Yi said, my father is at home. Zhou Li's lips were still trembling. She realized that Yi wanted to embarrass and humiliate her. She wanted to break free, but Yi felt her buttons moving, so he tightened his grip. Yi said slowly, You. What right do you have to be angry at Jiang Zhao? Because you said he slept with another woman. He's my man. He did something wrong to me, so it's only right that I hit him. What about you? What right do you have to hit him? Mother-in-law. Did you come when we had our wedding banquet? Have you ever drunk from him? If it was my father who hit him today, I would have nothing to say. I would even kneel down and beg my father not to be angry. I hid it from him because I didn't want him to worry. But you, I don't think it's necessary. You don't have the right to hit Jiang Zhao. You don't even have the right to call him a shameless. Jiang Zhao did everything that you should have done for me. You should be grateful to him. Grateful that he took me as a burden and didn't drag you down, right? If it wasn't for Jiang Zhao taking me in, aren't you afraid that I would be forced to look for you in desperation? Jiang Zhao could hear it. He was standing not far away. He exhaled and turned around. His palms slowly clenched into fists. The more he clenched them, the tighter they became. Yi's choked and trembling voice hammered at his heart. Pain, Jolie opened her mouth in shock. Her eyes were getting more and more wet. She couldn't tell if the curtain behind the glass was white or light blue. Yi laughed self-deprecatingly. Now you care. Now you're saying that you're angry. You said that I sat in a nightclub. Stage. I sat in a nightclub. Why didn't you get angry when I was on stage? I caught Jiang Zhao sleeping with another woman. Just because of that, you have the right to be angry. You didn't get angry when he saved me from the gangster's knife. You didn't get angry when he snatched me back from under the wheels of the killer. You didn't get angry when he found a better school for Xijia. You didn't get angry when he married me. You didn't get angry when he gave me a big house to live in. You didn't get angry when he put his money in my hands. You didn't get angry when he put up with pressure to get my father out for medical treatment. Now that there's some trouble, you're angry. If you're angry, you'll anger my father to death too. You'll be satisfied. Yi's voice was very low. He was like a ghost in the dark night, casting a suffocating curse. Jolie's body started to tremble. You said that you're angry. Tell me why. Because you love me. Because you care about me. Because you're afraid that I'll be wronged. You heard that my man is having an ambiguous relationship with another woman. You're upset, you're heartbroken. You think that since I'm your daughter can't bear to be wronged. Yi sniffed hard and looked at the reflection in the glass. You said that I'm living in silence. Madame Zhou, do you know that before I met Jiang Zhao, I was living in silence even more than I am now? Do you know that? Do you know why I had to suffer in silence in the past? Because I don't have a mother, my father is in prison, and I don't have any skills. I can only work as a waiter in a nightclub. You said that my father is a burden, but I don't think he's a burden at all. Do you think he wants to be like this? He's a gentleman. He's smart and can do business, but he can't do it now because he's carrying a case. But I'm still willing to look up to him like before. Because he never gave up on me. When he was at his toughest, he also wanted me to live well. When you say that he's useless, how useless are you? He's afraid that his daughter will put herself in danger. Every time I visit him in prison, he always says that he's fine. But do you know what kind of life there is? In order to make him confess, those people will do anything. In the past, I didn't know why I rarely saw my father in the summer. Now I understand. He doesn't wear much in the summer. He's always injured. He's afraid that I'll be sad if I see him. I believe that he'll suffer more humiliation, but he never told me that last time he was beaten to the point that he couldn't get out of bed. I went to see him, but he didn't want to see me. I saw him in pain on the bed from the surveillance camera. In that kind of environment, he still comforted me. He said that he'll be fine. He told me not to cause trouble for him. He told me to go to school, but I still wanted to save him. Madame Zhou, do you know why? Because every time he comforted me, he let me know that I have a father. My father loves me. He loves me so much that he doesn't let me run around. I feel love. A father's love for his daughter. When I'm loved and cared for, I have a lot of motivation to do things without hesitation. Yi Er sobbed. I believe that those people not only tortured him physically, but also mentally. He's changed a lot. I never knew that he had a heart problem. I never knew that he would talk about something like this. He's like an old man going through menopause. But he's still so young. The last time I went to the market with him, when someone locked the moped, his face suddenly changed. He grabbed my arm in fear, but he refused to say anything. I saw that he was trembling. I followed his gaze and saw that the person locked the moped with a metal chain. The sound of the metal chain made him afraid. That night, he sat in the living room, turned on the lights, and kept watching TV. I stayed by his side until dawn. He needs me very much. I feel that I'm his pillar of support. He's no longer the Yun Hongwei of the past. Do you have to be so bent on killing him? At least he treated you well. At least he didn't want to drag you down when he was in trouble. He never wanted to be anyone's burden. No matter how much you look down on him, he's still my father. But no matter how I look at it, I feel that he's more than worthy of you. Because I need him more than I need you. I believe that Si Jia feels the same way. Yi Er looked at the blurry scene in front of her. She really wanted to bite off the woman's ear, but she still had some rationality left. She couldn't. Miss Zhou, since you hate us so much, don't appear in front of us again, okay? Actually, I don't need you. You feel sorry for me. You're angry at Jiang Zhao. You hit him, but I feel that he loves me more than you do. Why do you have to make your stand clear? I really don't need you. Yi Er suddenly laughed hard. Do you think that it's easy to snatch Si Jia after angering my father to death? You're wrong. I'll make Si Jia not want to be with you. Maybe I'll even make him hate you. Don't force me to do that. You know that I, his sister, am more important to him than you, his mother. Zhou Li covered her mouth. Her face was already full of tears. Yi Er smiled. She didn't wipe the tears from her face. Instead, she reached out and wiped the tears from Zhou Li's face. She smiled happily. Mom. She called out softly, don't cry. You're such a beautiful person. How many men's hearts will break when you cry? Look, you don't look much older than your daughter. If you cry too much, you'll have wrinkles on your face and you won't be beautiful anymore. Once you're not beautiful, men won't like you. If you're abandoned, even if my father wants to treat you like before, he won't have the ability to provide for you. What will you do? Take good care of yourself and keep fit. Make sure that your face doesn't change shape. Don't add wrinkles to it. Don't let it fade away. This was the first time Yi Er had used such vicious words since she met Zhou Li again. She didn't care about the other party's feelings. She sighed and looked up. God, if you think I'm unfilial, strike me with lightning when I leave the house later and kill me. Zhou Li immediately covered Yi Er's mouth. Yi Er, don't say that. Don't say that. Yi Er was still hugging Zhou Li. She slowly slapped her hand away. Don't worry. If I'm still alive tomorrow, it means that God agrees with what I said. Jiang Zhao kept listening. He promised Yi Er that he wouldn't go over, but he didn't know how long Yi Er was going to say this. He didn't know if those words could hurt a woman like Zhou Li, but he knew that Yi Er's heart must be completely broken. Without asking for Yi Er's permission, Jiang Zhao went over and pried her hands off Zhou Li's shoulders. He pulled her into his arms. Yunyi, after calling Yi Er's name, she felt her mouth dry. She opened her mouth and stroked Yi Er's back. After a while, she said, "Go ahead and cry. If someone says no noise, I'll carry you to the rooftop and cry, okay?" Sob. Yi Er hugged Jiang Zhao's waist tightly. "I don't want to go to the rooftop. Sob, I want to stay here. I want to wait for the doctor to say that Dad is out of danger." Sob. Attention, Hongcha 866. Chapter 646. Alright, then you can cry here. If anyone dares to criticize you, I will use my power to suppress them. Let's see what they can do. Cry, cry. Yi Er sank deeper into Jiang Zhao's arms. Jiang Zhao stroked Yi Er's back. His gaze was as sharp as a knife. He looked at Zhou Li. He did not say anything, but his eyes told Zhou Li that he wanted to kill her. Zhou Li trembled. This time, after Yun Hongwei was hospitalized, Yi Er did not stay by his side like before. She hired a nurse and went to the dance studio in high spirits. She went to class and visited the hospital once at night before going home. She knew that if she stayed by his side at the hospital, Jiang Zhao would come to the hospital. She did not have much to do now, but Jiang Zhao was really busy. He needed to rest well. The two of them still slept in separate rooms, but they ate and went out together every day. Before they went to bed at night, they said goodnight to each other. Jiang Zhao felt that as long as they did not get a divorce, their days would be peaceful and would get better. Unknowingly, it was already mid-February. Yi Er and Jiang Zhao did not return to Jiang District to officiate their wedding. Jiang Zhao did not insist on it either. It was not the right time to bring it up. Yi Er's dance studio was opened. Her work had not been sorted out yet, so she had to do a lot of things by herself. Especially when it came to finance, she had to come up with a lot of packages. It was very troublesome to calculate the money. Yi Er felt that she had to ask Jiang Zhao properly when she got home at night on how to solve the financial problems. Xiaoya's custom-made dance studio was just opposite Yi Er. Yi Er was very busy, but Xiaoya was not. Zhuang Yichen had helped her manage her career very smoothly. She had matured a long time ago. So Xiaoya always went to Yi Er's dance studio to look for Yi Er. After finding out about Yun Hongwei's hospitalization, Xiaoya was much more principled than before. She would always say in front of her, "Actually, a woman should find a reliable man. It's really impossible to live without a man at home. Jiang Zhao is really a good person. You're so lucky. Men like that are rare nowadays." Yi Er just smiled and said, "He is indeed a good guy. You shouldn't always be single." "Yes, I will also find a man to marry." Yi Er was checking the accounts at the cashier counter. She had been talking to Xiaoya with her head lowered. At this moment, she looked up in surprise. "Oh, you changed your mind pretty quickly. A few months ago, you said that you didn't want to get married. Seeing you women who have husbands so happy, I'm also envious." Yi Er laughed. Then she suddenly sighed and said, "Sigh, every family has its own difficulties." She didn't think that Jiang Zhao was bad, but that incident was still a knot in her heart. She could forbid anyone from talking about him and despising him, but she couldn't bring herself to not mind it, even though she really wanted to forget that memory. Apply for a card. When Yi came back to her senses, there was a woman in front of her. She hadn't seen this woman in a long time. The finger marks on her face had disappeared. Yi didn't tell Xiaoye about this before. After all, it was something that would hurt her reputation. So Xiaoye smiled and said, "Business is really good." Yi didn't respond. She just looked at Ouyang Yen. Ouyang Yen smiled gently and said, "What's the matter? You're open for business, but you don't dare to do it." Xiaoye could hear the hostility in her words. She felt that something was wrong, but what was wrong? How can that be? Open for business means open for business. "Miss, why would you apply for a card?" Xiaoye didn't regard herself as an outsider and helped Yi drum up business. Yi wanted to stop her, but it was too late. An annual card. It's from the GB standard. Ouyang Yen took out a credit card from her bag and handed it to Yi. Yi took a deep breath. With Xiaoye around, she didn't want to make things ugly with Ouyang Yen. If word of this reached Zhuang Yichen's ears, all men would lose face. Pull the card and get Ouyang Yen to sign it. Ouyang Yen signed it and handed it to Yi. Yi took the cash register and compared it with the signature. When she saw the two words, her expression changed. It was actually Jiang Zhao's card. They were still in contact. The cash register in her hand was already crumpled, but she still handed it to Ouyang Yen. Ouyang Yen looked at Yi provocatively and revealed a victorious smile. Before Jiang Zhao got off work, he received a call from the Qin family urging him to go back to the Qin family mansion after work. He tidied up the things on the table and called Yi, telling her that he would pick her up for dinner at the Qin family mansion. Yi said that she wanted to go to the hospital to accompany her father, but she refused. Jiang Zhao said that he would get someone to send food over later. Yi agreed. These few months, Jiang Zhao had been very tense and tired. He could guess why she was going back to the Qin family mansion, so he prepared for the worst. The atmosphere in the Qin family mansion was intense. During dinner, everyone was happy and harmonious. Qin Fian and Zhuahao were both there, but there were only Qin Rongfang, Qin Fian, Zhuahao, and Jiang Zhao, who had just returned home. Zhao, you must be tired out during this period of time, right? Qin Rongfang ate in small bites. Firstly, he was a scholar, and secondly, he was old and had a slow appetite. Jiang Zhao glanced at Qin Fian and Zhuahao and guessed the atmosphere. "Grandpa, you're worried." "It's been good. Has your father-in-law woken up?" "Not yet," Jiang Zhao said honestly. "Okay, take good care of him." Qin Rongfang had a small appetite. After a while, he stopped picking up his chopsticks and drank his after-dinner tea. Jiang Zhao, Qin Fian, and Zhuahao buried their heads in their food and didn't say anything. There's one good thing about having a big family. There are many brothers and sisters, and we can take care of each other. It's very good. I'm also very gratified. Our family is different from the other wealthy families. As Qin Rongfang sipped his tea, he looked at his three grandsons who were eating with their heads lowered and began to murmur to himself. The other wealthy families have different surnames, such as direct grandson, eldest grandson, inner surname, and outer surname. Our family doesn't have that. I treat everyone the same. In the future, none of my grandchildren will be short. Qin Rongfang's hair and eyebrows were all silver. At this time, his hair shone like snow under the light. His eyes held a loving smile, but his three grandchildren didn't raise their heads to look at him. He sighed softly. There's nothing I can't figure out. After living for so long, all my children and grandchildren are considered talents. Although Fian is often angry to the point of blowing his beard and glaring, but he's actually more mature. Qin Fian knew that when his grandfather said this comparison, what he was most dissatisfied with was his sexual orientation. Xiao Xiao and Hao Hao are also very filial to me. They're not worse than their own grandfather. I'm actually gratified. There aren't many grandfathers who can be as comfortable as me. Fian doesn't need to say anything. She's obedient and sensible. It's just that she's too soft-hearted. I'm worried that she'll be taken advantage of when she grows up. Jiang Zhao finally felt his heart getting heavier and heavier. Qin Rongfang had always been like this. The bigger the matter, the more he would downplay it. He would definitely make others feel like their hearts were being bitten by dogs and wolves before he would talk about serious matters. Qin Fian raised his head to look at Jiang Zhao. He winked at him and then deliberately pushed his glasses up to avoid Qin Rongfang's discerning eyes. Jiang Zhao looked at Xue Hao again. Xue Hao smiled. The three of them buried their heads in the delicious food again. Sigh, the one I'm most worried about is Fei Yu. When I die, the three of you will be wearing the same pair of pants. You still have to take care of your sister. Don't just let the three of you play secretly and let others bully her. Here we go again, the three of them said in unison. Qin Fian sat next to Qin Rongfang. He stood up and took the kettle to refill Qin Rongfang's tea. Then he put down the kettle and patted Qin Rongfang's shoulder. He sat down and said, "Grandfather, don't worry. I'll definitely take good care of Fei Yu. I'll protect her by my side and be an old maid for life." Qin Rongfang couldn't hold it in any longer. Every time this happened, Qin Fian would always be the first to jump out and ruin the atmosphere. It wasn't easy for him to create such emotions. He slapped Qin Fian's hand away and said, "Get lost. Don't think that your sister will end up like you." Actually, the three of them all knew that the person they were going to judge today was Jiang Zhao. So Xue Hao rushed to say, "Grandfather, tomorrow I'll introduce an officer to Fei Yu. You can become a great-grandfather earlier, okay?" Qin Rongfang slammed the table in anger. He didn't even care about his immortal aura anymore. Nonsense. Fei Yu is only a few years old. You want to be a great-grandfather now. Are you trying to harm her? Jiang Zhao didn't answer. Qin Rongfang waited for a while. Jiang Zhao didn't answer. He knew that none of his grandsons were rabbits. They were all foxes. "Xiao Zhao, don't you have any objections?" Jiang Zhao looked like he was enjoying his food. He waited until all the food had gone into his stomach before saying, "Why don't we ask Fei Yu if she's in a relationship? Why don't we bring her boyfriend home to take a look?" Humph. Qin Rongfang's silver eyebrows were about to turn green with anger. He didn't want to talk about this at all. His main thought was that the three of them were in cahoots. They were working together to deceive this old man. Were they trying to act dumb? "Tell me, what have you been doing these past few months?" Jiang Zhao wiped the corners of his mouth with a napkin and smiled. "I'm the eldest. I'll go first." Jiang Zhao coughed. "I'm laying the foundation for my next promotion to the standing committee. I won't go into the details. The business of my two companies is getting more and more important. I want to hire a CEO, so there are a lot of chores at home. Luckily, Yunyi is taking care of me a lot, so I'm not too distracted." Qin Fian raised his hand. "I'm number 2. Brother, I'm done talking. I said that the land that I wanted to get for Route 326 was taken by the Shi family and I felt uncomfortable about it. Brother showed me the blueprint for Route 2 and I circled a few pieces of land to watch the auction. Last month, I won one of them and I still want to get 2 pieces of land from the other 2 prime locations. My focus is on this because the company's other businesses are going well and I don't have to worry too much." "Oh right, Another company is holding a press conference for their high-end swimming product this month, Zhuahao said, then it's my turn. There's a real combat exercise at the end of January, so I've been busy with these things for a while. Qin Rongfang slammed the table. Enough. Have you brats learned how to play dumb now? Have you learned how to play dumb? Are you trying to anger me to death? Jiang Zhao said with a smile, Grandpa, we want you to live for 1,000 years. Am I an old monster? After Qin Rongfang finished speaking, he snorted. Jiang Zhao, how do you explain the family Ouyang incident? Grandpa already knows, so there's no need to explain, right? Jiang Zhao took a sip of his after-dinner tea. Qin Rongfang's angry expression changed and he said seriously, have you ever thought about the position of the Qin family when you worked together to destroy the family Ouyang? What did the Qin family of Haiqing rely on to be the #1 family in Haiqing? The Qin family is not like Shi Jintian in the underworld. Not only did he rely on his power, he relied on his benevolence. I've been the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce for so many years. Every year, I've said that all the major families and companies should support each other and advance and retreat together. At least the Qin family's image to the outside world is positive. But soon, there will be rumors in Haiqing that the Qin family wants to be the only big family and can't tolerate the family Ouyang. That's why they destroyed the family Ouyang. Qin Fian pushed his glasses up his nose. Grandpa, you can't blame us for this. You're the older generation, so it's not convenient for you to take action. We don't have any friendship with Ouyang Xing. Add Songshu 566. Chapter 647. Zhuahao was a handsome and resolute soldier. He was more serious than Qin Fian when he spoke. Grandpa, if we intervene in this matter, my brother will do it alone. It will be easier for him to get into trouble. It's not like you don't know his temper. He did this because he couldn't take it lying down. If you want to talk about taking the big picture into consideration, we've already taken the big picture into consideration. Jiang Zhao was the last to speak this time. He looked at Qin Rongfang's reproachful eyes and said, Grandpa, if you want to blame someone, you can only blame me. It has nothing to do with Fian and Haozi. Because of that matter, my life has been completely messed up. I should have gone back to Jiang District to officiate the wedding, but I didn't go back. The family isn't peaceful, and I can't even devote myself to work. Ouyang Xing went to the building to threaten me. Actually, after being threatened by him, I thought about the situation in Haiqing and tolerated it if I could. The problem was that I couldn't tolerate the series of things that happened after that. Qin Rongfang knew that the situation was irreversible. In the past few months, the family Ouyang had encountered major problems one after another. There were product quality issues, illegal buildings being demolished, financial deficits being reported in advance, share prices plummeting, capital chain problems, workers going on strike, and recently, even the project with the Zhuo family had problems. The family Ouyang couldn't get a loan, and Ouyang Yu couldn't use his connections to help Ouyang Jian get a loan. They couldn't continue working with the Zhuo family. The termination of the contract was considered a breach of contract, but when something happened when the project was about to end, the Zhuo family was the one who benefited. The outside world couldn't see anything fishy, but he knew his grandson's roundabout methods and methods. You're a man. What can't you tolerate? Didn't I ask you to marry Ouyang Yan before the divorce? Then wouldn't it be better to avoid trouble? Grandpa, is it possible to solve this matter by avoiding unnecessary trouble? Must you ruin Ouyang Xing's reputation, and then the matter between you and that girl from the Yun family will be resolved? Even if it can't be resolved, I have to do this. Jiang Zhao's tone was calm at first, but it became more and more unyielding. He seemed to have forgotten that he was talking to an extremely prestigious elder. Qin Rongfang patted his chest. I'm so angry. Qin Fian reached out and patted Qin Rongfang's back. He knew that his grandfather was exaggerating a little, so he did the same. The action of patting the back was big and light, so it was useless. Grandpa, it's not that I want to criticize you, but being the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce is indeed a good thing. Can't you just sit there with your back straight and not feel guilty? Now, someone is saying that the Qin family is having a family Ouyang. Did anyone say that I was taking revenge? No one said that, so why are you so anxious? Seeing that Qin Rongfang was so anxious, Qin Fian smiled and continued, besides, we are your grandsons. What kind of deep friendship do you have with Ouyangxing? You have a good relationship with the Shi family, so when Unwu stole the land I wanted, I didn't even spare a fart. That's different, isn't it? Qin Rongfang glared at Qin Fian. Stop patting, it's worse than scratching an itch. Qin Fian raised his hand. Fine, I'm sorry, Grandpa. Zhao, where it's possible to make mistakes, let it go. Let it go. Give him a chance to come back from the dead and retaliate. Jiang Zhao chuckled lightly. Grandpa, I never thought of letting it go. Qin Fian recklessly interjected, Grandpa, I'll support brother to the end. Why don't you go abroad to relax? What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. Shua Hao agreed. Grandpa, why don't you pick a place with better scenery to relax? You bunch of stinks. Kid. I've already said so much and you still don't know how to repent. Grandpa, I don't think I've done anything wrong, so I don't want to change. Jiang Zhao leaned back. His voice was light, but his gaze was firm. Qin Fian added, Grandpa, as the saying goes, don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Don't tell me you encountered something like this in the past. Would you have tolerated it? In any case, I don't think brother did anything wrong. If you don't like it, just turn a blind eye and pretend you don't know. Qin Rongfang closed his eyes. It's easier for me to just close my eyes. Then the three of us will send you back to your room to rest. All of you, leave. We'll take our leave. Qin Fian stood up with a smile and gestured to Jiang Zhao and Zhua Hao. The three of them left the hall. Zhua Hao patted Jiang Zhao's shoulder and said somewhat mockingly, Brother, about this matter, I actually think you were a little too harsh. Ouyangxing was so angry that he was hospitalized again. There are even blisters on his mouth. Jiang Zhao laughed. I wasn't the only one who did it. You were the one who was the most ruthless. Don't forget, the Zhuo family is the one who really profited. I remember you told me before that you wanted to ask Big Brother Jiang to build a 7-star hotel for him. Look at how anxious you are now. He keeps spitting out money, and it doesn't even go into your pocket. It's not worth it. Qin Fian bumped into Jiang Zhao. We can't wait. If we want to do it flawlessly, it'll take too long to contact him. Brother, you said that even Grandpa noticed it. How can Ouyangxing not notice it? Zhua Hao was a little worried. He stopped in the courtyard and looked sideways at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao shook his head. If he had guessed it, with his arrogant and conceited personality, he would have made a fuss long ago. Didn't we set up so many smoke bombs and side projects to cause him to be confused? He's probably suspecting the provincial party committee now. Moreover, Dad acquiesced to this matter and covered for me, so Ouyangxing can't be that sensitive. Qin Fian pushed up his glasses and laughed. At critical times, Grandpa is not as forthright as uncle-in-law. As soon as Qin Fian finished speaking, something hit him in the back. Before he could turn around, Qin Rongfang walked over quickly. Little bastard, how dare you speak ill of me behind my back? Qin Fian took a step to hide behind Jiang Zhao. Qin Rongfang pointed at his nose and scolded, if you don't give birth to a child of the Qin family by next year, I won't strip you naked. You'll be hung at Haiqing's toll booth for public display. Jiang Zhao had heard Qin Rongfang say this more than once. He held the old man's shoulder and suggested in a friendly manner, "Grandpa, why don't I help you contact the art school's teachers and say that they'll let Fian's body be a model for the students and charge them some money? Who knows, maybe they can even make a fortune. Maybe people from other places will come because of your reputation." Qin Fian pretended to be angry and said, Brothers are used to betray others, aren't they?" Qin Rongfang didn't continue this topic. Zhao, Ouyang Xing isn't easy to deal with. If he finds out that you're messing with him behind his back, his connections aren't to be trifled with. I know, things are almost done. This time, Ouyang Xing is under investigation. Once the bank connection is cut, it'll be difficult for him to even think about it. Ouyang Xing just moved his company to another city before the new year. Ouyang Hai has no one who can really help him. Qin Rongfang sighed. Ask that girl from the Yun family to come over often for dinner. I'll ask Qin Jin to persuade her another day. It'll be easier for women to talk when they're together. Okay. The next day Qiming festival, Jiang Zhao left the house early. The radio kept talking about Qingming festival. She was thinking about what gift to buy for Yi that night. However, just as Yi picked up her bag and was about to leave, the doorbell rang. She opened the door and felt disgusted. What are you doing here? I'm looking for second brother. What's the matter? I'm pregnant. Yi tightened her grip on the handbag, feeling a little breathless. She hurriedly turned around to hide her expression from Ouyang Yan's eyes. She placed her handbag on the counter in the shoe-changing area, opened it, and took out her makeup bag. She stood up straight and looked at the small mirror in her hand to reapply her eyebrows and lips. However, when she saw that her face in the mirror had gained some color, she thought about the credit card that belonged to Jiang Zhao on the cash register yesterday. She bit down on her heart, but she quickly calmed down on the surface. She casually took out her phone and dialed a number. She said gently, "Hello, hubby. Your mistress is waiting for you at home. Do you want to book a couple's private room? It's so hard to book a table today." When Jiang Zhao received the call and heard Yi call him hubby, he was stunned and smiled like a happy child in front of Lu Qing, who was still reporting work. However, what she said next made his expression turn colder and colder. He propped up his chin at Lu Qing and gestured for him to leave. The woman's voice on the phone was still smiling like a spring breeze, but he could hear the stiffness in her voice. "You're going to be a father. Are you excited? Your mistress has brought you and her baby here to look for you." "Yunyi, what nonsense are you talking about? What mistress? She was fine this morning." "Ouyang Yan, isn't she your mistress? But a mother's status rises because of her son. I'm afraid she won't be your mistress soon. She'll be Mrs. Jiang, right? I have something to do today. I'm hanging up." Jiang Zhao's throat was on fire and he couldn't make a sound. When he took a sip of water and was about to speak, Yi had already hung up. When he called again, her phone was turned off. Yi hung up the phone and smiled at Ouyang Yan, who was standing at the door. "Oh, how should I address you?" "Mistress Miss. My husband will probably be back soon. Wait for him at the door." After packing up her bag, she realized that Ouyang Yan was still staring at her with a smile on her face. Her smile was like spring water, so gentle that it made one want to hold it in their hands and drink it into their stomach. The corners of her mouth were slightly curled up. She was the perfect example of a lady from a wealthy family, no one could find any flaws in her. This green TB*TCH had always been AB*TCH like a jasmine flower. Ouyang Yan wanted to enter the door, but Yi pushed her and closed the door. He stood at the door and glanced at Ouyang Yan, who staggered and leaned against the wall. He sneered and said, "Be careful. This house was under my name when I bought it. This is a single-story villa. The place you're standing now is my territory. You came to my house without my invitation. Are you trying to steal something?" "Steal?" Ouyang Yen slowly stood up straight and regained her composure. However, she suddenly smiled mockingly. "Do I need to?" "Yes, it's my nature." Yi Er brushed past Ouyang Yen. "I have something to do. You can wait here." Ouyang Yen didn't expect Yi Er to react so indifferently after finding out that she was pregnant. "Yunyi, is it fun for you to hold on to Jiang Zhao like this? Things have already come to this point. Don't you feel guilty for holding on to the title of Mrs. Jiang? Now that I'm pregnant with his child, what do you think?" Yi Er was about to walk to the elevator. She admitted that she was angry with Ouyang Yen. However, when she hit Ouyang Yen last time and Jiang Zhao was whipped, she knew that her impulsiveness had caused the Qin and Jiang families to be threatened by the Ouyang family. This time, she wouldn't be so foolish. The elders of the two families didn't do anything to her. She didn't need to make them angry. Attention, Hongcha 866. Chapter 648. Even so, there was a limit to her patience. She turned around and glanced at Ouyang Yan's abdomen. Then, she looked at her face and sneered, "What am I afraid of? I'm not pregnant. If I really get divorced, I'll still marry a good man. What about you? Are you so sure that I'll get divorced?" "Actually, I'm thinking right now. I won't get divorced even if I die. I'll let you bear a big belly until you give birth. As a single mother, what's so great about being able to give birth? Any woman can give birth as long as her body functions are normal. Can you give birth to a rare egg?" Yi Er stared at Ouyang Yan's belly again and sneered, "But I see that you really can only give birth to eggs when you're with a human." Ouyang Yan held her head. Too many things had happened at home recently, and she had been dealing with them all the time. Now that Yi Er had scolded her inhumane, she was annoyed and angry. "You can't even give birth to an egg." Yi Er saw that Ouyang Yan was a little angry. This woman changed so quickly. In the past, when they stood together, she really couldn't see any changes in Ouyang Yan's mood. Now that she was angry, it was so obvious. Why did she feel so happy to see this woman angry? It's not that I can't give birth to a child. I'm different from you. I'm too young and don't want to give birth at all. We haven't even spent enough time together. Wouldn't it be troublesome to give birth to a child? I'm different from you. You'll be lonely if you're alone. You're not like me. I have a husband to eat with, chat with, sleep with, and travel with my husband every day. If you don't give birth to an egg and come out to play, I'm afraid you'll go crazy and jump off a building." Yi Er didn't continue talking to Ouyang Yen. She was just showing off. This woman was more sophisticated than her. She was no match for Ouyang Yen at all. If she stayed any longer, she would be the one who would be angry. She ignored Ouyang Yen and pressed the elevator button to leave. Ouyang Yen was really angry at Yi Er's words. Seeing the elevator door close, her watery eyes became as cold as a knife. She gritted her teeth and felt that she had always been too dignified. That was why she was defeated by Yunyi. Jiang Zhao had loved her before, but she, who had always been cautious, was not as free and easy as Yunyi. Men liked the new and hated the old. Jiang Zhao must have felt that a woman like Yunyi was fresh and exciting. She couldn't understand the so-called true nature of a man, but she knew that men were not good people. They were all eating from the bowl and looking at the pot. When Ouyang Yen left Ninth Mansion, she received a call from Jiang Zhao. "Ouyang Yen, what the hell are you doing? Second brother. Yang Yen slowed down the car and laughed to herself. Yang Yen. Have you forgotten that you've always called me Yun Yun? Do you want to die? Who told you to look for her? It was just a light mockery, but when he stepped on the brakes, it turned into a guffaw. He laughed until tears came out of his eyes. She could hear the man's heavy breathing, and she could hear the sound of his teeth grinding. Since she was young, she had never seen Jiang Zhao angry. Although many people said that Jiang Zhao was not easy to get along with, and although he treated people well, he was actually a little cold and arrogant. Even so, Jiang Zhao treated her well and was almost obedient. When they were young, she was the princess that everyone worshipped. After they got together, she was the princess in his hands. He had never lost his temper and shouted at her. He even viciously said that she wanted to die, didn't she? When Yunyi hit her, not only did he not help, he even grabbed her hand and let Yunyi hit her. After so long, he didn't ask if she was doing well, but asked if she wanted to die. Laughter, cries, and the sound of falling tears. Even if Yang Yen cried, she had never cried like this before. Jiang Zhao had already returned to mansion number 9, but there was no one at home. He called Yi Er's cell phone, but she didn't pick up. When he called the store, the clerk who went there early said that the boss hadn't gone to work yet. It wasn't easy for him to calm down his life, but now it was a mess. He felt that God had made things for him, testing his endurance time and time again. Do you only have Yunyi in your heart now? But I'm pregnant with your child. What should I do? Ha! Yang Yen cried and laughed as she covered her mouth. Do you want to abandon your debt and live happily ever after with Yunyi, or? Are you dreaming? I won't do as you wish. That's great, that's great. Yunyi must hate you to death. Why do I feel so comfortable? Yang Yen wanted to continue, but Jiang Zhao hung up. Jiang Zhao was worried that something would happen to Yi Er, but he wouldn't let anything happen to her. The first thing he should do now was to find her. Yi Er went to the dance studio. She needed to find something to do. She couldn't think about Yang Yan's pregnancy. That provocative gaze flashed in front of her, and the dark brown horsewhip lashed out in the air, causing her heart to palpitate with fear, reverberating in her ears. Jiang Zhao worked from Monday to Friday. Occasionally, he would work overtime on weekends. She basically knew his schedule. When he was free, he would accompany her at home. The two of them would also go to the movies. Although they slept in separate rooms during this period, she felt that their relationship was becoming more normal. They were no longer like before, where they wanted to win or lose in everything. Most of the time, he would give in to her. Occasionally, he would get a little angry, but if that was the case, she would give in to him. At the end of the day, neither of them wanted a divorce. Even if she minded that matter, she still couldn't bear to part with him. Especially when she felt how good he was to her. Sleeping in separate rooms must have made him hungry, right? In the past, she knew that if a man didn't have enough to eat at home, he would go out to eat. Xia Qian parked her car at the roadside. She got out of the car and called Xiaoya. Sis, I'm at Yi Er's office. I'll come over to look for you later. Xiaoya said, I'll come over to look for you guys later. After hanging up, she went to look for Yi Er. However, Xia Qian followed behind Yi Er and listened to her scolding people. First, she said that people didn't wipe the wall mirrors clean. Then, she said that the voice at the reception desk was impolite. Then, she said that someone was slacking off early in the morning. Xia Qian finally followed Yi Er to her office. She sighed and said, Yunyi, are you like this at home too? Jiang Zhao likes a woman like you. Oh my god, he has such strong tastes. He likes a woman who nags like she's going through menopause. How can he like a woman with such a sharp tongue? Isn't this too tasteless? Yi Er had been angered by Ouyang Yan's bitch attitude this morning. Now that she was provoked by Xia Qian, she almost stomped her feet. She was paired with Jiang Zhao, and Jiang Zhao was tasteless. The last time she beat up Ouyang Yan and let Ouyang Xing threaten the Jiang and Qin families, it was not what she wanted. This time, she did not vent her anger. Xia Qian happened to be there. She rolled up her sleeves and pounced on Xia Qian. But when she was about to push Xia Qian to the ground and tickle her, Jiang Zhao pushed open the door of Yi Er's office. Yi Er was stunned. She rolled her eyes at Jiang Zhao and stared at him angrily. Xia Qian turned and saw Jiang Zhao. "Mayor Jiang, hurry up and drag this commoner's wife out of the office. She is going to turn the world upside down." When Xia Qian said that Yi Er was a commoner, Yi Er remembered Ouyang Yan's noble and reserved manner. "Who are you calling commoner? Who are you calling commoner?" She stretched out her hand to strangle Xia Qian, and Jiang Zhao walked over. He bent down and picked up Yi Er from the floor. He looked at her coldly. Xia Qian stood up. She was an idiot and felt the atmosphere was weird. But her instincts told her that Jiang Zhao wanted to uphold justice for her. "Jiang Zhao, you better teach your wife a lesson. She does not behave like a commoner's wife at all. She is such a B***tch. It's embarrassing to bring her out." Jiang Zhao turned and looked at Xia Qian angrily. "Xia Qian, seems like you are not comfortable with your internship at the TV station." Xia Qian finally realized that they were husband and wife. Her job was arranged by Jiang Zhao, and it was easy for her to get into the city television station. Many low-ranking officials and their families could not even get the chance to be an intern. Who knows how many red packets they would have to bribe them. However, she did not spend a single cent. She was a person who did not forget to dig the well. When she saw Jiang Zhao, he was her benefactor. She could not treat him as casually as she treated Yi Er. Hence, she immediately laughed and scratched her head. "Ah, it's very comfortable, very comfortable. I am here today to tell Yi Er that I will be doing an interview at the city's swimming pool in a few days. You all can look for the news tomorrow." Xia Qian felt that she must show her face during this interview. She suddenly felt that she was going to be a celebrity. This feeling was too good. Yi Er shouted at Xia Qian. "Lousy host. Who wants to see you?" Xia Qian jumped back and raised her hand to stop him. Fine. I will leave first. You can come and see me again when I become an unbreakable host. I feel that your yin and yang are out of balance and you have a bad temper. I suggest you go to a doctor to recuperate. I have been following a program recently. The TV station is doing a health program that focuses on how to maintain one's health and recuperate. I suggest you take a look. Xia Qian, if you continue to stay here, I am afraid you won't be able to escape the interview at the swimming pool. Many people are trying to squeeze into that internship. Jiang Zhao had just finished speaking when Xia Qian's voice reached the corridor. I am leaving. I wish you all a blissful marriage. When Xia Qian arrived at Xiaoya's workplace, she sighed and told her about what had happened at Yi Er's place. Sis, Yi Er is so unrighteous. She actually wanted to fight with me. She is such a shrew. There was a stage in front of Xiaoya. The stage was wrapped in a wedding gown. The white gauze flowed on the ground, leaving a happy trail behind it. Xiaoya's hand was under her chin, covering the area below her nose. Her eyes were clear and bright as she stared at her work. It was as if there was a living person standing in front of her. She saw the beautiful smile on the bride's face. Although the bride had beautiful shoulder blades, her neck was a little short. The bride was also a little conservative. If the gown was changed to a V-neck, would the bride be able to accept it? There were accessories and lace on the work table. She picked up 2 pieces of luxurious hand-knitted lace and imagined how the wedding gown would look like after the change. She placed the lace on the shoulder straps and pulled it down to the cleavage at the chest. Then she picked up the sketchbook and pencil on the work table. She erased the top half of the wedding gown with an eraser and sketched seriously. The lace sleeves were slightly blistered and stretched all the way to the chest. The V-neck looked deep, but the faintly discernible lace was able to block the glow that everyone coveted. The lace on the sleeves was changed again. The density of the silk flowers was higher than the lace on the chest. The texture was soft. The bride's shoulders were too thin and the bones on her shoulders were too protruding. The lace sleeves just wrapped around the bones. Add. Songshu 566. Chapter 649. Xiaoya looked at the draft and made a call to the client. Xia Qian thought it was boring to talk to herself, so she quietly watched Xiaoya work. Hello, Mrs. Ning, I'm Xiaoya. Yes, yes, yes. You too. How could I? You specifically asked me to design it myself. How could I let an employee do it? Yes, 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 it's like this. I've changed the drawing again. I think it might be more suitable for you. Of course, I need your approval before I can change it. I'll draw a neat drawing later and send it to you. Take a look. Will it be better after I change it? No, our employees are very responsible, not just me. Okay, I'll contact you later. Xiaoya hung up the phone. Xia Qian looked at Xiaoya in a daze. Sis, you're a little schizophrenic. You're completely different at work and in real life. Xiaoya was still immersed in drawing and carefully comparing the patterns on the Lexus. Qian, when you work in the future, you have to be very serious and responsible. I've always been serious. You're just too schizophrenic. Xiaoya shook her head. It's not a split. It's an attitude towards work. Although I've never told you about my affairs, and you've always acted like you don't know anything, I know very well, and you've pretty much guessed it. Doing business is like growing up from a baby. We have to learn to walk and rely on others to encourage, support, and reward us. When we fall, adults will pick us up again. But during this time, we have to cherish and work hard, because it's sad to always need other support. No one doesn't want to walk alone, then run, then climb mountains and conquer the land under their feet. Do you understand what I'm saying? Xia Qian scratched her head. I understand. It means that we can't let adults feed us. We have to learn to eat by ourselves. Sis, I think brother-in-law is very handsome. How could she not see that the man she met last time? Her sister's affairs were at the peak of her career. She rarely saw this man around her. Her sister didn't deliberately hide it. She just used it to remind her not to tell the elders at home. What if I tell you that he's not your future brother-in-law? You can find anyone to be your brother-in-law, as long as that person treats you well. Also, you should be able to tell that Jiang Zhao actually treats Yi very well. For a man to allow his woman to act like a shrew in front of outsiders, it means that he loves her. You shouldn't reprimand Yi's character. Instead, you should envy her for finding a good husband. In the future, you should also find a man who loves you. When the time comes, I'll make you the most beautiful wedding dress and make you the most beautiful bride. Sis, what are you talking about? I don't want to get married. Why do I feel like something's wrong with you today? Something so interesting happened in Yi, but you don't seem to be in the mood at all. Are you hiding something from me? Xiaoya looked up. She looked at Xia Qian, who was sitting at her workbench and looking at her seriously. I always look like this when I'm working. Why did she reveal her emotions so easily now? Oh yes, I feel that Yi must have something on her mind today. I'm afraid she might have gotten into a fight with Jiang Zhao. Let's go over and take a look later. Yi is about to hit someone. If they really get into a fight, it won't be nice. Jiang Zhao is the mayor after all, and Yi is not rational now. As her friends, we can't let her do whatever she wants. Furthermore, she is very prideful now and I'm afraid she can't stand it anymore. Xiaoye threw her pen aside and changed into her high heels. She took her coat from the coat rack. Let's go over now. I don't want anything to happen. Xiaoye and Xia Qian had just arrived at Yi store when they bumped into Ouyang Yan, who had just parked her car. Xiaoye greeted her in a friendly manner. Miss, why are you here today? Ouyang Yan saw Xiaoye. She knew her. Qiu Xiaoye. She has a lot of clothes in her house that were made in YA. But when she remembered that Xiaoye was Yi's friend, she gave her a cold smile and walked up the stairs. Xiaoye was slightly embarrassed. However, she was a businesswoman and had seen all kinds of rich madams, rich young ladies, and official madams. She had experienced all kinds of tempers, and this was not the first time she had seen such a cold face. She quickly hid her embarrassment and took Xia Qian's arm to follow her up the stairs. Xia Qian mumbled softly. She's so arrogant. So what if she is beautiful? She might not be able to get married for the rest of her life. Xiaoye patted Yi's arm. Don't be so narrow-minded. Don't be so petty, okay? Think about it. When you become a host in the future, you will meet all kinds of weird people. You can't possibly criticize all of them, right? Okay. Take a step back. I understand. Yi's store was a small space on the first floor. One had to press the elevator or walk up the stairs to the second floor. Once the elevator opened on the second floor, one would be at the front desk. Ouyang Yan went to the front desk on the second floor. Yi was here yesterday, but he was not today. The dance studio was not small. It took up more than 1,000 square meters of space and was divided into many classrooms. The decoration was also more upscale than other dance studios in Haiqing. Nowadays, people who hired private tutors at home would come here to learn. It was said that they had hired a few famous dancers as their teaching assistants. It was impossible to hire them from outside. There was a class every half a month, and it was quite a gimmick. She could hear the sound of the teacher teaching the dance steps or practicing the basics. Ouyang Yan asked the staff about Yi's whereabouts. Almost no one could resist Ouyang Yan's pure-as-water smile and her polite and noble demeanor. Although her face was beautiful, it didn't make any women feel threatened. Yi just stared at Jiang Zhao without saying a word. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. He did not even dare to blink. If he did, he would burst into tears. Jiang Zhao rubbed his chin. Yunyi, it's been so long. You still don't believe me. I haven't contacted her since. Just now, I couldn't get through to your phone, so I called her. Yi sneered at this moment. Jiang Zhao, who are you lying to? You even gave her your credit card. Does Ouyang Yan lack money? Calculating the expiration date of the credit card, that card was applied for in the past 2 months. You say you haven't contacted her. If you haven't contacted her, then why did you come to me with the card you gave her to show off? When did I give her a card? Jiang Zhao was also furious. These words were clearly shouted out with bulging veins. This was simply an attempt to pin a crime on him. He should have swallowed the humiliation in the past. Regardless of whether he had the other party's dao or not, the matter was there. If he didn't make things clear then, he wouldn't be able to make things clear in the future. He could not do anything about it. But Yi Er said that he gave his credit card to Ouyang Yen. This was simply ridiculous. With his current relationship with the family Ouyang, it was impossible for him to apply for Ouyang Yan's own card, let alone apply for Ouyang Yan's own card. Yun Yi. You've learned how to slander people for no reason, haven't you? Yi Er grabbed the newly drafted package form on the table and smashed it on the ground. Am I slandering you? The card that Ouyang Yen used in front of me yesterday was your card. You are Jiang Zhao's card. You said that you wanted to lead a good life, Jiang Zhao. You were the one who said that you wanted to lead a good life and lead a new life. Ouyang Yen is pregnant now. Yi Er stomped hard on the form on the ground. She finally blinked, and with this blinking, she lost all her strength. What does her pregnancy have to do with me? Jiang Zhao grabbed Yi Er, who was venting, and held her in place. Tell me, what does her pregnancy have to do with me? What does it have to do with me? Jiang Zhao was about to go crazy because of this matter. He hadn't had a moment of peace in the past few months. When he thought about ruining the family Ouyang, he finally felt that he could vent his anger. Now that this matter had suddenly come knocking on his door, he also wanted to smash things. He also wanted to vent his anger with all his might. TMD. What did Ouyang Yan's pregnancy have to do with him? If it has nothing to do with you, then why did she go to Ninth Mansion? Ha! She said that the child she's pregnant with is yours. It's yours. It's yours. Yi Er really went all out this time. She pulled open Jiang Zhao's suit and unbuttoned the top 2 buttons on his shirt. Then she bit down on his shoulder, whimpering as she bit. It was already painful to break the skin. At this moment, Yi Er's tears dripped into the broken flesh. Jiang Zhao frowned and hissed, Yun Yi, you won't believe me for the rest of your life, right? If she says it's mine, then you'll think it's mine, right? Yi Er was trapped in Jiang Zhao's arms. The moment she let go of Jiang Zhao, she slumped back weakly. There was still some blood in her mouth. She was so angry that the lipstick on her lips had stained Jiang Zhao's shoulder. Her lips were stained with the blood from Jiang Zhao's shoulder. How am I supposed to believe you? Jiang Zhao. What about the child? What should I do? Jiang Zhao was so angry that his tall body was trembling. He reached out to grab Yi Er's shoulder and shook her forcefully. When he glared at Yi Er, his eyes were filled with anger and disappointment. I told you. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't sleep with her. How many times have I told you that I don't have any memories of that period of time? How many times have I told you that I don't remember sleeping with her? I don't feel anything at all, Yun Yi. You'll never believe me. If I slept with you, even if we didn't do it, even if we just kissed and hugged, there's no way I wouldn't remember it at all. Why won't you believe me? Jiang Zhao was already tired of explaining. Just as he said, how many times had he said it? How many times had he said it? But Yi Er always judged him based on what other men did. In her eyes, even if a man was caught in bed, he would say that he was seduced by another woman. Even though the office door was closed, the 3 people outside could still hear the argument inside. Even though Xiaoye was quick-witted, when she heard the argument, she went to look for the supervisor and asked her not to come to the office. The supervisor was familiar with Xiaoye and knew that Xiaoye and Yi Er were good friends, so she agreed to let Xiaoye go. She even called out the person in the finance office and told her not to work for now. If anyone wanted to come to the office or finance office to look for Yi Er, the supervisor would stand at the end of the corridor and send them away. Xia Qian wondered if she should go in and persuade her. Xiaoye pulled her back and glanced at Ouyang Yen, who was standing beside them. She saw that Ouyang Yen was still standing there elegantly with a slight smirk on her face. She looked a little smug. 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 She wasn't mistaken. This woman had heard the argument from outside the door and looked a little smug. Originally, Xiaoye wanted to ask Ouyang Yan to leave, but Ouyang Yan said that she and Jiang Zhao were friends. Now that she thought about it, something was wrong. If they were friends, why did Yi Er have such a reaction when she saw this woman yesterday? Xiaoye had a lot on her mind. She wanted to ask for an explanation, but Ouyang Yan had already taken a step forward and opened the office door. Mistress. Come and see. Songshu 566. Chapter 650. A word suddenly popped up in Xiaoye's mind. She pulled Xia Qian and followed in. If this woman was really the person she was thinking of, she couldn't let this woman bully Yi Er. Jiang Zhao and Yi Er were stunned. Ouyang Yan smiled faintly. Xiaoye and Xia Qian followed closely behind Ouyang Yan. Xiaoye was a little shrewd, but Xia Qian was a little confused. Brother Er, you can't be so irresponsible with your words. What do you mean the child isn't yours? I've never slept with another man. Ha, are you trying to deny it? The child is real. You can't deny it even if you want to. So, you're going to be a father. Are you happy? Ouyang Yan was just like that. Her face was still dewy. With a face like hers, no one could tell that the words she said could provoke Yi Er to death. Yi Er finally understood why so many people had high blood pressure and heart disease. Some people got it from eating too much, while others got it from anger. But when his blood pressure rose, Yi Er felt a gust of cold air. He turned around and saw Jiang Zhao. He realized that this man was now surrounded by 1,000-year-old ice. It was so cold that his blood was about to freeze. He wasn't looking at him, but at Ouyang Yan. Xiaoye grabbed Ouyang Yan's clothes. Ouyang Yan stumbled and turned around. She was so frightened that her face turned pale. Her dignified demeanor suddenly disappeared. She said angrily, "What are you doing?" "What am I doing? I'm going to teach you a lesson." It wasn't that Xiaoye didn't want to hit Jiang Zhao, but this woman's words were really asking for a beating. Qian, catch her. Xia Qian reacted and hugged Ouyang Yan. Xiaoye took a step back, closed the door, and walked back. She raised her hand and slapped Ouyang Yan hard across the face. Yi Er knew that he had implicated the family by hitting Ouyang Yan last time. He quickly shouted, "Sister Xiaoye, don't hit her. She'll cause trouble. How dare you hit me?" Ouyang Yan wanted to retaliate, but Xia Qian grabbed his arms and pulled him into her embrace. He wanted to extend his leg, but Xiaoye took a step back. Xiaoye did not listen to Yi Er, but Ouyang Yan pulled back his leg and slapped her again. "Go away. Go and say it. Saying that I, Xiaoye Qiu, hit you. I want to see what kind of trouble I can cause. I hit a shameless third party. Let's see what kind of trouble I can cause." When she was about to give another slap, her hand was grabbed by a strong hand. Xiaoye looked at Jiang Zhao in disbelief. Jiang Zhao still had a cold expression on his face. He had always had an arrogant attitude. At this moment, the cold air around him made people tremble. "Jiang Zhao, you're still helping her at a time like this." Xiaoye was really angry and hateful. Xia Qian was quite tired from carrying Ouyang Yan. She panted and said, "Jiang Zhao, you heartless person. What's wrong with Yi Er?" Yi Er stood rooted to the ground. When she hit Ouyang Yan the last time, he did not stop her. This time, when Xiaoye hit Ouyang Yan, he stopped her. Was it because Ouyang Yan was pregnant? She did not know when she would start to not feel heartache when facing this man. He had just said that it had nothing to do with him. The moment he turned around, he went to help that woman. Yi staggered a few steps back. He put his palms on the office table behind him and barely managed to steady himself. Good, good, good. Otherwise, she would not be able to give up. Jiang Zhao pulled Xia Qian's arm away from Ouyang Yan. Ouyang Yan was very touched. Second brother, I knew it. You can't bear to see me get hurt. As soon as she finished speaking, she was about to throw herself into Jiang Zhao's arms. However, Jiang Zhao grabbed Ouyang Yan's shoulders with both hands. A man's steps, especially those of a man as tall as Jiang Zhao, were fast and heavy. In just a few steps, he pinned Ouyang Yan against the wall. Yi Xiaoya, and Xia Qian were all stunned. At this moment, Jiang Zhao's voice and tone were not as agitated and emotional as when he was arguing with Yi earlier. He was so cold that it was almost emotionless. He was originally a handsome man. When he looked at her with disdain, when he was arrogant, when he was emotionless, he truly had the aura of a king. Ouyang Yan, didn't I ask you if you wanted to die? Ouyang Yan, I've never hit a woman. The corners of Jiang Zhao's mouth curled up slightly. Usually, Qin Fian's smile was the most enchanting, but at this moment, Jiang Zhao's bone-chilling aura suddenly blossomed into an evil smile. It was so enchanting that it made people suffocate. Ouyang Yan was absent-minded for a moment. Ouyang Yan, I've never hit a woman. You said that you're pregnant with my child. Good, very good. The smile at the corners of Jiang Zhao's mouth slowly faded. His voice was almost cold as he murmured, I want to see if it's my child. I've said before that I've never hit a woman. I'm not hitting a woman. I just want to see if it's my child. Yi looked at Jiang Zhao's expression and felt her heart tremble. She didn't know what Jiang Zhao wanted to do, but she felt that Jiang Zhao wanted to kill someone and was about to go over. Jiang Zhao bent his long leg and slammed it forcefully into Ouyang Yan's abdomen. Other than Ouyang Yan's painful screams, no one in the room could be heard. Yi suddenly covered her mouth. Her eyes widened in shock and she didn't even dare to scream. Xia Qian was so frightened that she burrowed into Xiaoya's arms to hide. Jiang Zhao's eyes were almost bloodshot, but he was like a calm madman. He looked at Ouyang Yan, whose face had already turned pale, and said fiercely, when the baby comes out later, I'll take it for a DNA test. If it's mine, Jiang Zhao, you can use it as evidence and sue me for raping you. You can even send me to prison. As he said this, he lifted his long leg again and slammed it against Ouyang Yan's abdomen. Ouyang Yan felt a piercing pain in her lower abdomen. She saw that the man was actually looking at her with a calm gaze. He was so focused on her, but he was so cold, as if he was looking at a stranger. Yi's hand, which was supporting herself on the table, started to tremble. A woman's strength couldn't be compared to a man's. The last time she had hit Ouyang Yan, she had only hit her face. But Jiang Zhao was different. His coldness was slowly entwined with a murderous aura. It wasn't as if Yi had never angered Jiang Zhao before. She knew that he had such a side to him. He was so fierce that he wasn't afraid of anything and was so arrogant that he considered everyone beneath him. He wasn't the same Jiang Zhao that the outside world saw. She had been punished by him and knew how merciless he could be. Yi and Xiaoya rushed over at almost the same time and pulled Jiang Zhao back. Xiaoya knew that the situation had reached a point of no return. Yi was definitely in a state of confusion. Xiaoya squatted down and hugged Jiang Zhao's leg. She wanted to lift it up again, but the man's muscles were as hard as steel. She couldn't control it on her own. She turned her head and shouted at Xia Qian, who was already scared out of her wits, Xia Qian. What are you doing? Come and help. Xia Qian panicked, but she had to listen to Xiaoya. She ran over and imitated Xiaoya. She squatted down and stood behind Jiang Zhao. She hugged his leg. Yi Er stood on the other side of Jiang Zhao. She was originally holding onto his arm, but now she wrapped her arm around his neck. Ah Zhao, ah Zhao. She tried to use the name that would soften his heart the most to wake him up. Ah Zhao, don't do this. Don't do this. Someone will die. Don't do this. At this moment, Jiang Zhao was like an out-of-control beast in Yi Er's eyes. He wouldn't listen to any advice. He was a beast that wanted to achieve his own goals. He wanted to get rid of the people who were invading his territory. Ah Zhao, someone will die. Yi Er was so scared that she kept repeating herself. Not to mention that Ouyang Yan was pregnant. Even if she was a normal woman, how could she stand being treated with such force by a man? Jiang Zhao was still holding on to Ouyang Yan's shoulder. He said coldly, "Is your stomach starting to hurt? Is there anything that is leaking out? If it does, I'll get a forensic doctor to come over and examine it." Yi Er's lips were trembling. She felt her entire body turn cold. She knew that Ouyang Yan must be feeling cold as well. Ouyang Yan's lips started to turn pale. Beads of sweat formed on her forehead. Her tears had been flowing for a long time, but they didn't move the man. She gritted her teeth and said hatefully, "Jiang Zhao. You beast." Jiang Zhao's gaze was cold. "Yes, I'm a beast. Is there anything leaking out?" As he spoke, his legs started to struggle again. Xiaoya and Xia Qian were girls after all. Even though they were using all their strength, they still felt that fighting against this man was simply courting death. Xiaoya and Xia Qian wrapped their arms around Jiang Zhao's leg. They used one hand to hold onto their other wrist tightly. Their wrists were red and painful from the pulling. Xiaoya looked up. "Yi Er. Hurry up and call an ambulance. There's the smell of blood. Hurry." After Yi Er came back to her senses, she suddenly let go of Jiang Zhao. She staggered to the desk and started to dial 120. Jiang Zhao smiled. "Very good, it's leaking out." He loosened his grip on Ouyang Yan's shoulder. His shoulders drooped weakly. It was as if he had used up all his strength just now. At this moment, he couldn't muster up any strength. Xiaoya realized that something was amiss. She immediately stood up and called out to Xia Qian, "Qian, don't stand behind him. Be careful not to crush you." Jiang Zhao rubbed his forehead, his shoulders drooped, and his eyes wandered around. When he saw the sofa, he walked over weakly and sat down. He leaned back, raised his head, and said softly, "Very good. Get someone to appraise it." Xia Qian was so frightened by Jiang Zhao that she didn't say a word. It was as if she had lost the ability to speak. Even though Xiaoya had been through a lot, she turned around to support Ouyang Yan. "Let me help you over to the sofa. The ambulance will be here soon." Ouyang Yan clutched his stomach and stared at Xiaoya with hatred. "You will all suffer retribution." Xiaoya didn't argue. "Yes, you're right. We will all suffer retribution. Don't get agitated." Jiang Zhao sat on the sofa without saying a word. He just leaned back with his head tilted up and his eyes closed. He seemed to be resting and ignored everyone. Yi Er didn't dare to leave. Xiaoya and Xia Qian took Ouyang Yan to the hospital. Ouyang Yan had a dilation and was transferred to the ward. Xiaoya gave the doctor a red packet and took the embryo sac. She also bribed the doctor to keep it and get the DNA report done. Xia Qian didn't understand. "Sis, if this embryo sac has nothing to do with Jiang Zhao, then if this woman sues Jiang Zhao, will Jiang Zhao's responsibility be lighter?" In Xia Qian's eyes, this was a legal society. Jiang Zhao's actions were already considered intentional harm. He used violence to cause a pregnant woman to miscarry. This was no longer a simple dispute as simple as a slap to the face. Xiaoye thought about the people coming and going, the women going in and out of the surgeries, and she felt a little emotional. Women did not know how to protect themselves. It was the biggest mistake to have a child with a man who did not love them. After getting pregnant, they came to be a prostitute and scolded the man for being irresponsible. Had they reflected on themselves and realized that they did not love themselves enough? Wouldn't Ouyang Yan be even more foolish? Sis. Xia Qian looked at Xiaoye, who was in a daze, and called out again. Qian, remember this. When you have a boyfriend in the future, the first thing you need to do is not to learn how to love him, but to learn how to prevent pregnancy. Sis, you're so annoying. Xia Qian didn't have a boyfriend yet. When Xiaoye said this, she couldn't help but feel uncomfortable and embarrassed. A powerful novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 651. Xiaoye held Xia Qian's hand. Her own hand was not as warm as Xia Qian's and was very cold. She patted her sister's hand and said with some concern, Qian, I'm not joking. There are too many uncertainties in this society. If you meet a man you like and sleep with him, even if you change boyfriends every year, break up, fall in love, sleep with him again, break up with him again, it's not that you don't love yourself. But if you're so stupid that you don't know how to use contraceptives and frequently enter the operating room, then you really don't love yourself. The simplest thing in human society is to make babies. When a man and a woman get together, it's an instinct to reproduce. It's a dream for a woman to use a child to tie a man down. Having children isn't a big deal. Do you understand? Xia Qian knew that Xiaoye was serious and also knew that she was doing it for her own good. She nodded obediently and said, Sis, what's the point of keeping the embryo sac? Xiaoye said, I'm worried that if the embryo sac goes missing, Jiang Zhao will be bitten by the Ouyang Yan. If that happens, Yi Er will be in big trouble. This Ouyang Yan is really something. She's not Jiang Zhao's child and yet she dares to anger Yi Er so righteously. She's obviously trying to anger Yi Er to death. Why would Jiang Zhao touch her? Jiang Zhao is a good person. He definitely wouldn't do anything to hurt Yi Er. Xia Qian couldn't help but feel indignant. Are you so sure that Jiang Zhao didn't touch the Ouyang Yan? Xiaoye smiled faintly. Then aren't you killing Jiang Zhao by keeping the embryo sac? If Jiang Zhao touched the Ouyang Yan, would he still be like that? Xia Qian got angrier as she spoke. Even a vicious tiger won't eat its cubs. Xiaoye patted Xia Qian's back. That's why I told you that women need to know how to use contraceptives. Can't you see it today? Xia Qian was confused. See what? Let's not talk about whether what Jiang Zhao said outside the door to defend himself was true. The Ouyang Yan's appearance and encounter proves one thing. What's the outcome? Xiaoye took a deep breath. It proves that even if the child in Ouyang Yan's belly is Jiang Zhao's, Jiang Zhao won't want it. Xia Qian was still wondering why the child was Jiang Zhao's. Xiaoye smiled and said, there are many ways to test for DNA. You're in the media industry, so you're familiar with many fields. Even if the child hasn't been born, we can still draw the amniotic fluid. There's no need for an abortion at all. But Jiang Zhao's decisiveness is not just to vent his anger, but because he wants to. At this point, Xiaoye paused and took a deep, trembling breath. Cut the weeds and dig up the roots. Xia Qian covered her mouth and exclaimed, oh my God. But sister, Jiang Zhao said that if the child is his, we will ask Ouyang Yan to sue him. What should we do? It means that even if Jiang Zhao goes to jail, he won't be with Ouyang Yan over a child. Do you understand? Xia Qian was extremely anxious. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what should we do if Ouyang Yan sues him. That's why I bribed the doctor to change the test results if necessary. Sister. How could you do such a thing? Don't worry, I'm 98% sure that the child isn't Jiang Zhao's. But Jiang Zhao is being too cruel by doing this for the sake of that 2% uncertainty. Xiaoye looked at the wall opposite her. Xia Qian, don't ever provoke a man like Jiang Zhao in the future. He's too cruel and vicious. Xia Qian seemed to understand some of it and tried to comprehend it for a while. When she couldn't understand, she looked at Xiaoye quietly. The two of them sat in a row outside the corridor filled with strong antiseptic. Xia Qian felt that Xiaoye was very sad today. The two of them snuggled together and sat on a stool outside Ouyang Yan's ward. A series of hurried footsteps could be heard. The two of them turned their heads to take a look. There was no one in High City that they didn't know. Ouyang Xing was being supported by someone as he hurriedly walked in their direction. Yi Er accompanied Jiang Zhao, who was so quiet that he didn't say a word. She was afraid. Ah, Zhao. She called him many times, but he didn't respond. After a while, his thin lips finally parted and he said, I'm so tired. Then he sighed again. I'm so tired. The man's sitting posture didn't change. His eyes didn't open, and his eyelashes were closed and trembling slightly. Yi Er squatted on the floor and rested her elbows on the floor. She rested her head on Jiang Zhao's lap and rested her head on his forearm. Hearing Jiang Zhao say that he was tired, her heart felt like it was being twisted. She really wanted him to speak so that he wouldn't suffocate. However, the few words that came out of his mouth were like a blunt knife. It was so painful that she couldn't feel good. When he said that he was tired, there was a sense of desolation and helplessness in his voice, as if he was an old man past his prime. When he said that he was tired, there was a sense of weariness in his voice, as if he was a depressed youth. He had never shown this side of himself in front of her before. In front of her, he had always been a man who could hold up a home and support both heaven and earth. But now, he seemed like he was about to collapse. He said that he was tired. Yi Er lay on Jiang Zhao's lap and didn't get up. She lay there and felt that the muscles on his legs weren't as hard as before. She could feel his warmth. Ah, Zhao, let's be good together. No matter what the outcome is, let's be good together, okay? Jiang Zhao opened his eyes slowly and looked at the ceiling. He reached out and stroked the head on his lap. Now that she was working, she would always tidy up her hair properly and tie it into a small bun on the top of her head. When she wore a black dance training outfit and stretched her body to practice her basic skills, she looked very good. His voice was still the same. It sounded lonely, desolate, powerless, weary, but it also sounded like he was confiding in her. He spoke slowly and paused occasionally. Yunyi, you're right, after just now. I realized that I wasn't 100% sure either. I know that I was drugged that day. But I also know that there are not only knockout drugs in this world, there are also hallucinogens and many other strange things. Just like many young people who are high, and do many irreversible things after being drugged, they can't remember it the next day. I'm not sure what kind of drug I was drugged with. I only know that I don't have any memory. I know that I can't touch her. My heart is filled with you. How can I touch her when I'm sober? I'm not a man who pounces on women whenever he sees one. But, she's a prosecutor. Even if she's lying, her gaze is so firm that no one can see through her. She's so confident. Yunyi, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Yi lay on Jiang Zhao's lap, her slender and fair hands clutching onto Jiang Zhao's pants tightly. He said, "My heart is filled with you. How can I touch her when I'm sober?" Yunyi, I don't know what else I can say. I finally found out just now that I'm not sure. Maybe I touched her. Although this possibility is very small, when I think of this, I feel that I've let you down. But even if the child is mine, I won't want it. If she sues me and you want to divorce me, I'd rather go to jail than be with her. Jiang Zhao grabbed Yi's hand a little forcefully and fiercely. Yunyi, if I go to jail, I'll let it go for the rest of my life. But you know that even if I caused her to have a miscarriage today, I can't go to jail for the rest of my life. Even if you divorce me. When he paused here, Jiang Zhao closed his eyes again and let out a long breath. If I come out of jail and find out that you're with another man, I'll kill you and that man. Jiang Zhao closed his eyes and repeated, I'll kill both of you. He tightened his grip on Yi's hand. Then he opened his fingers and immediately clenched them again and tightened his grip. People love to say that dripping water could wear a stone. What about love? He didn't know when he started to fall in love with her, and he didn't know when she started to fall in love with him. He couldn't tell the time or the place. He only knew that one day, he wanted to have her and only he could have her. No one else could covet her. He even asked her not to look at anyone else. Even if she smiled when she talked about someone else, it would affect his emotions. He only needed to imagine why that person made her smile, and he would feel sour and jealous. It wasn't that he hadn't loved before. At his age, he should have seen through it all. He had always felt that he was a righteous but heartless person. He wouldn't abandon the righteousness that he valued. For example, he could protect the brotherhood between brothers. Even if he knew that he was walking this path because he wanted his family to go further, he was still willing to do so. But when it came to love, he was heartless. If the Ouyang Yen said that he was a beast, he would say that he was a beast. To the Ouyang Yen, he was a beast. But if he didn't do this, he would be a beast to Yi. He had no choice but to choose between the two. He almost never thought of choosing. He was afraid of being tortured. But he had never been a man who was afraid of being tortured. But in the past few months, he had suffered enough. Sometimes, he would even give up and think about what was wrong with him. For a man like him, he could find any kind of woman. What was so good about Yi? He was so thick-skinned to please her. Whatever she wanted to do, he would let her do it. Following a woman's wishes and doing what he liked was his demeanor. Under normal circumstances, he should get something in return. But he didn't get it. He still got her distrust and her unforgiveness. He had done something wrong, and then she confronted him. He couldn't threaten her like before. Your brother, your father, your other people. Then when she heard his threats, she would be like before. She held his arm and said, Master, you're so nice. He had been working hard to build trust. He wanted to break through. He wanted to go back to the time before that night. He only wanted to remember that she said, Jiang Zhao, I love you. He didn't need to remember the rest. He didn't need to remember it. He often thought about it. He had missed it for so long. He could make up for it in the future. Although they were living separately, their relationship was becoming more like that of a brother and sister-in-law. They didn't always try to please each other. Their lives were becoming more and more like a normal life. But the news of the Ouyang Yan's pregnancy almost interrupted all of his plans and dreams. Yi started to distrust him again. She bit him. Last time, when she caught him, his sister was in bed, she didn't hit him. This time, she bit him and didn't hesitate to make him bleed. He knew that she was desperate, he couldn't imagine how long their marriage could last. Maybe it wouldn't even take 10 days before the world turned upside down. He wasn't stupid. He knew what trouble he was about to cause. Even though the family Ouyang was starting to get tired of dealing with their debts, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. The Ouyang Yen wasn't a girl from an ordinary family. He was the main person responsible for her miscarriage. He was the perpetrator. But he would rather do that. He didn't want to suffer that kind of torment. He didn't have time to waste with the Ouyang Yen. He knew how smart she was. He also knew that she was best at psychological warfare. He could accompany her in this psychological warfare, but Yi Er couldn't. Yi Er didn't have that kind of quality. He could only cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. A thought suddenly arose in his mind. No matter if it was true or not, he had to be 100% sure that the dust would settle. He knew that he couldn't retreat. There was lava in front of him, and behind him was a cliff. He would either burn to death or fall to his death. But he couldn't just stand there and wait until he died of anxiety. Awesome novel, Shinwoo 799. Chapter 652. He knew that he was not a good person. He had never thought of himself as a good person. In this world of power, money, beauty, and lust washed over his soul every day. He was unable to purify himself, and he was unwilling to be purified. If he did not act ruthlessly, in the future either he or Yi Er would be tortured to death. At this moment, Yi Er was kneeling beside Jiang Zhao. When she heard him speak so viciously, she felt like there were worms gnawing at her heart bit by bit. Starting from the edges, they slowly gnawed at her heart. She wanted to struggle and escape, but her heart was surrounded by worms. Every time she moved, it would itch and hurt even more. Her heart was thumping wildly. After she calmed down, she couldn't help but lower her head and smile. When she raised her head to look at Jiang Zhao again, she reached out and caressed his face. Again and again, she pressed her fingertips against his jaw and massaged it. His beard was shaved clean in the morning, but sometimes she liked to see some stubble on his jaw when he woke up in the morning. That proved that they had spent another day together. Then don't go in. If you go in, you can't control me. Can you control me? Jiang Zhao opened his eyes and sat up straight. He lowered his head and was about to fly into a rage when he saw Yi Er's tears suddenly rolling down her cheeks. He saw that her eyes were red, the tip of her nose was red, and there was a trail of snot running down her nose. Her tears flowed for a while, and she sniffled. Then she opened her mouth and exhaled. When she exhaled, her lips were trembling. Actually, it wasn't her lips that were trembling, it was her jaw that was trembling when she opened her mouth. He said leisurely, "You can try." Although her tears were still flowing, she couldn't help but smile. She reached out and slapped Jiang Zhao's thigh a little angrily. "Ha, can you be more humane? So many people have been sent to prison, but they're all afraid of wasting their women's youth. They're all asking them to find another man while they're still young. You're really..." Jiang Zhao pulled up the hem of Yi Er's sweater. Yi Er thought that Jiang Zhao was going to be a hooligan and was about to scold him for being a shameless jerk when Jiang Zhao covered Yi Er's nose with the hem of the sweater. He wiped the snot off the sweater and put it down. "Really, what?" Yi Er lowered his head and saw the snot on his clothes. He grimaced in disgust and shouted angrily, "Seriously? But reason. You." Jiang Zhao seemed to be in a better mood. "Yes, I've always been unreasonable. Who told you to beg to marry me? What are you going to do now?" Recalling that he was the one who proposed to her, Yi Er felt a little embarrassed. "I just wanted to put on airs." "What's wrong with that? There's no use pretending to be pretentious. She's still my wife, Jiang Zhao." Ouyang Yan's ward defied the silence written on the corridor. Ouyang Sheng was furious. Go, go, go. Go and investigate. Where did the baby come from and how did the miscarriage happen? He only remembered that his granddaughter had called him a while ago and said that she had been admitted to the hospital. After being given anesthetics, she had fallen asleep and he couldn't get anything out of her. Ouyang Xing was furious and his voice wasn't soft. Xiaoye and Xia Qian, who were sitting in the corridor, heard him clearly. Ouyang Yan didn't wake up. Ouyang Xing heard from the nurse that she and Xia Qian had sent Ouyang Yan to the hospital and insisted on detaining her. Xiaoye wasn't anxious. It was good that at least Ouyang Xing didn't know that his granddaughter was pregnant. He should let Yi Er know about it, regardless of whether it was worth it or not. Actually, Xia Qian's courage wasn't small, but she wasn't that big either. Although she always made mistakes, she was relatively honest in her studies. She didn't have the bad habits of a child who got into fights, so she felt that it was a big deal that she was detained by Ouyang Xing. Sis, what should we do? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that the old man will eat us up? Losing Xia Qian and Haiqing isn't a big deal, but what about the disappearance of the famous designer, Xiao Yiqiu? Moreover, isn't this a public hospital where people come and go? Would he dare to stab me in the back in front of everyone? Xiaoye casually brushed her hair behind her ear. Sis, why are you so calm? Xia Qian realized that her legs were trembling. That old man didn't look like a good person. He looked fierce and fierce. Moreover, wasn't the fourth master of Haiqing very powerful? This was really terrible. Xiaoye burst out laughing. You said it. This is a lawful society. Pfft. Xia Qian looked at Xiaoye and couldn't help but spit. The men brought by the fourth master were all in black suits. Legend had it that the men in black suits were all from the underworld. The people in the underworld would often ask people to eat bullets. This was how it was portrayed in Hong Kong movies. Moreover, the things that Jiang Zhao did today were not things that people from a lawful society should do. What her sister did was even worse. Giving red packets to the hospital was not allowed, right? Giving money to the doctor to do a private DNA test without the consent of the embryo's owner and without the police's permission was not allowed, right? Also, threatening to change the test results was not allowed, right? She did so many things in a few hours that were not allowed, and she still had the cheek to say that it was a lawful society. Pfft. Xia Qian spat again. Qiu Xiaoye, you've really learned something. What nonsense are you spouting? Xiaoye folded her arms and leaned back against the wall. She spat and said leisurely, Do you have eggs? Xia Qian almost gritted her teeth. Was this how an older sister should behave? She was so anxious. The emperor was not anxious, but the eunuch was anxious. Pfft, who was the eunuch? She straightened her body and tilted her chin. I have eggs. Where are they? Here, Xia Qian pointed at her face. My face, you have eggs, but not your face. Xiaoye chuckled. Then what eggs do I have? You have eggs, get lost. Xia Qian was petrified. As a member of society with a sense of justice, facing such a cold-blooded person who did not care about worldly affairs, what else could she do but be petrified? After talking for so long, this cold-blooded person refused to say anything. What should she do? She spouted a bunch of eggs. She really had to hand it to her. Sister, if you're so good at **ting, why didn't you learn how to be a host? Why did you learn fashion design? Xiaoye was still laughing, but at this moment, her face darkened and her nonsense turned into a scream. Xia Qian. Why don't you take care of yourself? Why do you care so much about me? Ha! Aren't you embarrassed? Other students with good grades find their own internships. What about you? You got in through the back door. Are you embarrassed? If you want to get in through the back door, then go to me or your boyfriend. You actually went to your friend's husband to get in through the back door. You still have the nerve to say that you have a face. Where is your face? Why didn't I notice it? Ha! Yo, Chiao Xiaoya. You've learned something new. Just as the two of them were about to start a war of words, the door to the ward opened. A man in a black suit came out and shouted, "What are you arguing about? You're disturbing the patient's rest." F***CKU. Xiaoya's heart was filled with anger. She stood up and shouted back, "Who's F***king noisy? Is your voice louder or mine?" Xia Qian realized that something was wrong with Xiaoya and immediately went over to pull her back. "Sis, let's stop arguing." Xiaoya pushed Xia Qian away. "Are you a coward? Can't you tell who's pulling who in a fight? You're pulling me because you want me to get beaten up, aren't you?" The originally quiet corridor of the hospital became louder and louder. It was so loud that Ouyangxing stood at the door and glared at Qiu Xiaoya. "My granddaughter hasn't woken up yet. Be quiet." Xiaoya liked to dress enchanting and sexy. The weather in the middle of February was not too cold. She wore a tight short skirt and a woolen coat. Her high heels were on her feet, and the woolen coat was open. Her figure was wrapped in a protruding front and back. Her appearance was originally cold and elegant. At this time, her arms were crossed in front of her chest, and she was leaning. She looked a little cold. She slanted her body and sneered contemptuously. Her face was too enchanting and beautiful. What a joke. How much do I earn in a day to stay here and wait for your granddaughter to wake up? It's good enough that I didn't ask you to pay for my losses. You said that we should ask her clearly when she wakes up. Then we can leave. I'm just making some noise to wake her up faster. What? She doesn't know how to be grateful when she wakes up faster. Xiaoya's words were indeed quite harsh and aggressive. It wasn't that she hadn't done business with the family Ouyang before. Ouyang Hai and his wife, Ni Jun's, dresses were all made by her. It wasn't that she didn't want to make money peacefully, but she felt that it was bad luck to sit here and wait for Ouyang Yan to wake up. Moreover, Ouyang Xing's face was really annoying. Perhaps she hated the mistress who interfered in her friend's marriage, so she hated Ouyang Xing as well. Ouyang Xing had been proud and arrogant all his life. Who among the younger generation in Haiqing didn't call him fourth master? Even though Jiang Zhao didn't call him fourth master anymore, he still had to call him fourth master hypocritically or mockingly. But this woman, a woman who sold clothes, dared to challenge him like this. Was she tired of living? Her words and tone were full of provocation. Xiaoya looked at Ouyang Xing's changes. An old man could actually look so healthy. She heard that Ouyang Xing was 70 years old, but he didn't look like that at all. His face was flushed red and full of murderous intent. Xiaoya held her breath and looked at Ouyang Xing with a provocative gaze. Xia Qian's heart was in her throat. She really hadn't seen much of the world. She had a heavy heart and instinctively retreated when she felt danger. This was human nature. There wasn't anything wrong with it. She just felt that Ouyang Xing wasn't easy to get along with and that she should stay away from him and not offend him. "Sis, let's go sit for a while." "Sit for what? My butt is going to grow calluses from sitting." "Forget it, let's go." Xiaoya turned around and grabbed Xia Qian's hand. The sound of her high heels was crisp, loud, and arrogant. Ouyang Xing pointed at Xiaoya's back. "Rebel. Get her back. I'd like to see if she dares to walk out of this floor without my permission today." Xiaoya didn't stop walking. She held Xia Qian's hand tightly and said in a low voice, "Qian Qian, let me tell you, we have to go." If Ouyang Yen wakes up and tells us what happened today, we're done for. You've seen how Ouyang Xing is. We can't afford to offend him. Xia Qian broke out in cold sweat. Sis, I'm scared. Don't worry, I'm here. The man in the black suit walked quickly and quickly caught up with Xiaoye and Xia Qian. He turned around in front of them and raised his arm to block their way. Xiaoye asked calmly, "What do you want?" "Illegal detention." "Miss Chiu, don't make things difficult for us." Xiaoye touched her face and pretended to be sad. She looked up at the corner to see if there were any cameras. She then looked around and snorted with a smile. "You guys are so funny. This is a public hospital. There are so many people coming and going." Chapter 653. Miss Chiu, we're just asking you to go back. When Miss Sun wakes up, she'll naturally be able to leave. Xiaoye naturally understood that Ouyang Xing wasn't going to reason with her, then let my sister go. Xia Qian was shocked and her heart was filled with fear. "No, sis, I'll stay here with you." "What are you doing here? Is there meat to eat? Does the disinfectant smell good?" Xiaoye glared at Xia Qian. Jiang Zhao heaved a sigh of relief. When he stood up, he lifted Yi Er. "You were the one who unbuttoned my shirt. Button it up for me." Yi Er tugged at Jiang Zhao's collar again. "Let me see if you need to dress your wound." Jiang Zhao pushed Yi Er's hand away and buttoned up his own shirt. He smiled. "It's fine. I'll go to the hospital to get a rabies vaccine later." Yi Er's lips twitched. This guy really held a grudge. She had scolded him the last time and now he was returning the favor. Okay. Go get it. Get it done." Jiang Zhao buttoned up his shirt and stretched his neck. When he moved his shoulders, it really did hurt. He looked at the woman's red eyes and reached out to flick her brow. Rabies vaccines are very expensive. Do you think it's easy to earn your husband's money? I wake up early and work late every day. I have to endure the anger of my boss and worry about my subordinates messing around. I have to live in fear just to earn a little salary. You're actually asking me to waste my money on vaccinations. Do you even know how to run a household?" Yi Er hissed in pain, but she still covered her brow and smiled at Jiang Zhao. "Jiang Zhao, you're so bad. You're always teasing me. If I didn't tease you, who would I tease? If she wasn't my wife, I wouldn't even bother teasing her. I wouldn't even bother wasting my breath talking to her. You don't know what's good for you." Yi Er knew that if they were to talk nonsense, there was no way she would be able to out-talk Jiang Zhao. Just as she was about to admit defeat and call a truce, Jiang Zhao reached out and grabbed the back of her head. With a gentle tug, he brought her in front of him. On her forehead, he pressed his lips forcefully against hers with his unique warmth. "I'll go to the hospital to have a look. It's not right to leave Xiaoye and Xia Qian there. I think Ouyang Xing is also there now. I'll go with you." "Don't go. Ouyang Yen is injured now. Ouyang Xing must be very angry. It's not good to have another target if you go. I'll calm down when you're not here." To Yi Er's relief, after that incident, Jiang Zhao never called Ouyang Yen Yun. She really shouldn't have gone. With her around, he was always impulsive. "I'm not going. You go." When Yi Er said this, her voice was calm and there was a hint of a smile on her face. When she reached out to stroke the collar of Jiang Zhao's suit, it was soft and gentle. It was as if she was steadily stroking his heart. Jiang Zhao suddenly realized that Yi Er had grown up. She had grown up all of a sudden. Just as Jiang Zhao's car drove into the public hospital, a flashy silver Bugatti also drove into the hospital. At that time, the ambulance was in a hurry and he didn't think of asking Yi Er to call a private hospital. However, Zhuang Yichen drove his own car over. He probably heard the news halfway and rushed over without even changing his car. It seemed like he was a little late. Zhuang Yichen sat in the car. Li Yong, who was in his 40s, had just parked the car. He turned his head and said, "Young master, I'll go up. You should wait in the car." Zhuang Yichen rubbed his chin and was a little annoyed. "Let's go up together. I don't believe that Ouyangxing really dares to detain people." Li Yong was a little worried. "Young master, it's better if you don't show up. If word gets out, it won't be good. Moreover, this is a public hospital. There are so many people coming and going. It's too eye-catching." At this moment, Zhuang Yichen's phone rang. Jiang Zhao's calm voice came from the phone. "Yichen, you go back first. I'll go up." Zhuang Yichen's jaw dropped. "Brother Zhao, Ouyangxing is not someone to be trifled with. I don't care about anything else. Qiu Xiaoye is now my woman. Today's incident was because of your family. I want a guarantee from you." How could Jiang Zhao not hear Zhuang Yichen's dissatisfaction? At this time, he was not in the mood to bargain with Zhuang Yichen. As a man, he had to take responsibility. Moreover, Zhuang Yichen was telling the truth. Today's incident was because of his family. It was all thanks to Qiu Xiaoye and Xia Qian. Otherwise, it would have been a pot of rotten porridge. Zhuang Yichen should be responsible for the entire incident. "Okay, I promise she'll be fine. I'll wait downstairs for a while. If she doesn't come down in 20 minutes, I'll go up." Zhuang Yichen took a deep breath and said calmly, "I'll wait for your news. I'm hanging up." Jiang Zhao turned off the engine and hung up the phone. He opened the door and got out of the car. The man in the black suit refused to let Xia Qian go first. Xiaoye was in a deadlock with the man. Even though the inpatient area was quiet and Ouyangxing was famous, it still attracted the attention of some curious people. Jiang Zhao got out of the elevator and stood at the door. He stretched his back and walked towards Ouyang Yan's room in the inpatient area. When Xia Qian saw Jiang Zhao, she hugged Xiaoye's arm in surprise. She didn't care whether they were in the inpatient area or not. She screamed excitedly, "Sister, Jiang Zhao is here." Xiaoye only glanced at him and was slightly disappointed. Ouyangxing, who was sitting beside Ouyang Yan's bed, heard Xia Qian's screams and stood up immediately. Ouyangxing walked quickly to the door and stretched his neck to take a peek. He saw Jiang Zhao greeting his men, so he went over. "Sir." Although Jiang Zhao had done something to hurt Ouyang Yan, he did not have the slightest intention of pleasing Ouyangxing. The way he addressed Ouyangxing was very stiff. Ouyangxing always felt unhappy when Jiang Zhao addressed him as Sir. He said sarcastically, "Mayor Jiang, when you address me as Sir, you are picking up the bad habits of the underworld. It's all right. It's just a form of address." Jiang Zhao stopped exchanging pleasantries with Ouyangxing. "I was present at the scene today. At that time, I had to appease Yi Er, so I asked Miss Qiu and the others to send the Ouyangxing inspectors over. I'm done with my work now, so I came over to replace them." Ouyangxing was unhappy with Jiang Zhao's disrespect. He looked at Qiu and Xiaoye. "You can only leave after Yan wakes up." Jiang Zhao was good at dealing with people. It was just like what he had told Yi Er. When Yi Er was not around, he would be calmer. He had to think of the bigger picture, and when he confronts someone, he will know when to stop. Unknowingly, Yi Er had become his weakness. Dong Xiaobing smiled. "Since you think Miss Qiu is better here, I will leave first." Ouyang Xing knew when to step down. If Jiang Zhao wanted to leave, it would not be as easy as detaining a young girl. Since this matter was related to Jiang Zhao, it would be better for Jiang Zhao to stay here than for Xiaoya. You can leave now. Qiu Xiaoya only said thank you to Jiang Zhao and left with Xia Qian in her high heels. Ouyang Xing turned around and led the way. When they reached Ouyang Yan's ward, he asked the staff to close the door. What happened? You have to wait until O Jinan wakes up before asking. If not, you will find my one-sided story boring. Jiang Zhao pulled out a stool and sat down. He took out his phone and sent a message. She is downstairs. Did you see her? Thank you. When Jiang Zhao saw this message, he couldn't help but laugh. Zhuang Yichen had all the morals that a person should have. When they were together, what they liked the most was an equal exchange where they didn't owe each other anything. The words, thank you, sounded very strange. Ouyang Xing knew that ever since that night at the family Ouyang's house, Jiang Zhao had always treated him like this. Jiang Zhao's attitude was known to Qin Rongfang, but Qin Rongfang did not care. This kind of junior did not even know how to respect his elders. How could he be young and promising? Jiang Zhao, don't think that I can't teach you a lesson. Jiang Zhao looked up and stared blankly at Ouyang Xing for a while. Then, he suddenly laughed. I have been very sick recently. I need to be treated. Ouyang Xing was speechless. Xiaoya went downstairs. The ambulance had not arrived yet. She pulled Xia Qian and was about to call a taxi when she saw a familiar silver light at the exit of the parking lot. Bugatti. Zhuang Yichen's car. It was not that she had sharp eyes, but Zhuang Yichen did not need to be restrained like Jiang Zhao. He was not frugal when it came to things. His car was the same. Rich young men in Haiqing liked to buy limited edition cars to show off their wealth. Xiaoya often said that Zhuang Yichen liked to show off. He obviously wanted to show off, but he insisted that he was low-key. If he really wanted to keep a low profile, he should learn from Jiang Zhao and park a 4 to 5 million yuan sports car in a garage. Occasionally, he would drive the car assigned to him. For personal matters, he would drive a black Audi A8 that cost about 2 million yuan. He should not care about the color, the model, the style, and what was popular. However, when did Zhuang Yichen pay attention to these things? Although he said he wanted to keep a low profile, when he spent money and bought things, he was like Qin Fian. He was as high profile as he could be. That's right, the woman kept a low profile. She had never gone out with him for a proper meal. That was only for her. Every time she held a press conference, he would insist on bringing a woman to support her. It was as if he was afraid that she did not know about his taste and charm. Xiaoya stomped her foot. She was angry. She had to find a man and get married. I don't want to fool around with him anymore. Zhuang Yichen, who was sitting in the car, had a ruthless look on his face. He leaned his head back and pressed his forehead. Uncle Li, turn off Qiu Xiaoya's custom-made products. Let her have some debts. Young master. Li Yong was so shocked that he almost stepped on the brakes. He thought he had heard wrongly. Zhuang Yichen could be said to be brought up by him. He had never taken advantage of a woman, let alone treat her unfairly. How could he take back what he had given out? He must have heard wrongly. Really? She doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. She thinks that just because she has some ability, she can offend anyone and is not afraid of anyone. She is too complacent and does not know how to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. This is not good for her. She must be taught a lesson. Otherwise, she might even lose her life like today. This lesson should be enough for her to reflect on. But isn't everything fine now? She came out unscathed. If it was someone else, no one would dare to speak to Zhuang Yichen like this. But this person was Li Yong. He was someone whom Zhuang Yichen respected. So, it was not strange for him to explain patiently. That's because Jiang Zhao had gone, and I also know about it. So, she should be fine today. Otherwise, with Ouyangxing's arrogant and conceited character, how can he not teach his enemy a lesson when he knows about it? If that's the case, Ouyangxing will also close down her shop. She might not have any debts, but it's hard to say if she will be hurt. Li Yong immediately understood. I will get it done. Thank you for your hard work. Yi was worried. Although she was calm when Jiang Zhao left, she thought about him going to the hospital and Ouyang Yan losing her child. What will happen? Jiang Zhao said that Ouyangxing should have gone to the hospital. Would his father-in-law whip him again this time? Beauty novel, Hongcha 866. Chapter 654. Yi Er reached out and grabbed the sweater over her heart. She paced back and forth anxiously in the office, feeling exceptionally frustrated. When she exhaled, she had already grabbed her thin jacket, opened the office door, and ran out. Yi Er asked Xiaoye where Ouyang Yan was staying. She repeatedly assured Xiaoye that she wasn't going to cause trouble, but she was worried that Jiang Zhao would be alone. Only then did Xiaoye tell her the address. When Yi Er entered the ward, Jiang Zhao's face darkened. What are you doing here? I came to take a look. Yi Er was a little timid. When she saw Ouyangxing, she knew that she was a burden and that she wasn't needed here. But when she saw that Jiang Zhao was unharmed, she felt relieved. Not long after Yi Er arrived, Ouyang Yan woke up. Jiang Zhao thought about it. With Yi Er around, at least she could see his attitude towards Ouyang Yan clearly. She wouldn't let her imagination run wild in the future. He, Jiang Zhao, could only have one wife. He would only have one for the rest of his life. He would never divorce her. His children would never become the children of a single-parent family. He held Yi Er's hand as they stood in the ward. Ouyangxing looked at Jiang Zhao's indifferent expression and felt annoyed. He called the nurse over to put a pillow under Ouyang Yan's head. Yi Er was a little nervous, but she thought that this was also a good thing. Now that they had gotten into trouble, it was their first time facing it together. No matter what punishment Jiang Zhao would receive, she would stay by his side and watch over him. Looking at Ouyang Yan's pale face, Yi Er couldn't bear it. But this thought only lasted for a moment. If Ouyang Yan hadn't plotted against Jiang Zhao and provoked her, how could Jiang Zhao be so ruthless? Serves him right. When these two words suddenly popped up in Yi Er's mind, she was dumbfounded. It turned out that he was so vicious. The Ouyang Yan deserved it, but Jiang Zhao suffered. Ouyangxing patted Ouyang Yan's shoulder with heartache and hatred. Yun, tell Grandpa what happened. Grandpa will fight to the death for you. Jiang Zhao patted the back of Yi Er's hand and said calmly, today. Ouyang Yan suddenly looked at Ouyangxing and opened her mouth, interrupting Jiang Zhao. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's, but it was still heard clearly by everyone in the quiet environment. Grandfather. Yes, I was careless. I went to Yunye's place today to look for trouble, but she didn't show up. I lost my temper and bumped into the table. That's why I ended up like this. Yi Er was stunned. Jiang Zhao is astonished. Ouyangxing was annoyed. Why did you go look for her for no reason? It's my fault. What happened to the child? Ouyangxing just remembered that he still didn't know. He was afraid that Jiang Zhao would hear him, so he whispered into Ouyang Yan's ear. Ouyang Yen slowly closed her eyes and let out a long sigh. Don't ask any more, Grandpa. Jiang Zhao and Yi Er's feelings were so complicated that they couldn't get over it. Logically, Ouyang Yen should hate them to death, but now she was trying to absolve Jiang Zhao. As long as Ouyang Xing knew that Jiang Zhao was the one who did it, he would definitely sue Jiang Zhao. Yi Er thought that Ouyang Yen loved Jiang Zhao, so she must be worried that Jiang Zhao would go to jail, even if Jiang Zhao had killed her child. How strong was this kind of love? Yi Er bit her lip. She scolded herself 1,000,000 times in her heart for her earlier viciousness. Jiang Zhao didn't feel good. He didn't feel guilty at first, but now his heart was filled with guilt. He didn't want to owe this favor. He wanted to speak up, but Yi Er pinched him and looked at him pleadingly. Ouyang Yen looked up at Yi Er and Jiang Zhao indifferently. Her emotions didn't fluctuate. Both of you can go out. I want some peace and quiet. I don't want to say anything. I hate to hear anyone talk now. Ouyang Xing said, both of you can go out. Jiang Zhao pulled Yi Er out of the room. As soon as they went out, Ouyang Yan's clear and weak eyes suddenly became fierce. Her hands clenched into fists under the quilt. She didn't want the child in her stomach. If she lost it, then so be it. But she hated Jiang Zhao for being so heartless. She knew that Jiang Zhao must have thought that the child in her stomach could be his, so he did this to her. So it turned out that the fact that she was pregnant with his child made him want to kill her. She swore she would never let this adulterous couple off. Ouyang Yen came back to her senses. She looked at Ouyang Xing, who had a suspicious look on his face. She looked ashamed and smiled gently. Grandpa, don't ask me anymore, okay? Ouyang Xing's face turned cold. Yun, there were outsiders just now, so I couldn't embarrass you. Now you're asking Grandpa to stop asking. Whose child is it? How did it come about? Ouyang Xing doted on his granddaughter like his life depended on it. But he couldn't help but get angry at such an embarrassing matter. Anyway, I'll insist that it's Jiang Zhao's. Ouyang Yen closed her eyes and rubbed her temples impatiently. Yun, you've changed a lot in the past few months. Ouyang Xing couldn't help but feel disappointed. His granddaughter wasn't like this in the past. Now, even her expression is starting to change. Ouyang Yen opened her eyes and laughed at herself. Slowly, she said weakly, Grandpa, I think it's good to be like this now. In the past, I had to do my best because I'm a member of the family Ouyang. I had to be dignified and generous. I was the role model of all the young ladies of the wealthy families. I had to be reserved and polite because I was an outstanding seedling in the eyes of the elders of the aristocratic families. After sighing softly, her eyes were filled with fatigue. I also know that Jiang Zhao is good. When I left High City, I already knew that Jiang Zhao was good. I'm not blind. Among the young masters of the aristocratic families in High City, there are only a handful who are as outstanding as Jiang Zhao. How many of them can compare to him in terms of upbringing and personal qualities? I didn't want to, but I was too tired from being tied up at that time, so I wanted to go out and release myself. If I made a scene in High City, what would others think of the family Ouyang? What would Jiang Zhao think of me then? I didn't waste my time away from home for the past few years. At least I know that High City is better than Jiang Zhao. I'm still young and can get married and have children immediately. At this point, she stretched out her hand from under the blanket and covered her mouth as she sobbed. When she sobbed, her speech was choppy and incoherent. From time to time, her tone would become heavier to express her dissatisfaction and helplessness. When I came back, I even bought baby's breath and lilacs. They symbolized how deeply I loved him. I wanted to express my goodwill to him, but later I found out that he was a block of wood and didn't understand the language of flowers at all. I should have known that he didn't understand these things. I said I'd stay in his apartment and he'd let me stay there, but I didn't expect him to move away. I thought that maybe he just wanted to take advantage of me. He's arrogant to begin with. After all these years, he should have been uncomfortable. But how many days has it been? That Yunyi jumped out. Grandpa, I thought that he just wanted to take advantage of me and put on airs in front of me. I thought that he was waiting for me to apologize to him, but I thought that how could I apologize to him? He loves me. After interacting with me for a while, he won't be able to hold it in anymore and will come back to look for me to get back together with him. Ouyang Yen raised her head and roared. Her wrist was placed on her eyes, and her tears instantly wet the pillow. She muttered and repeated, "Oh, Yunyi. Yunyi is so shameless." She found out about my existence and jumped out to propose. Grandpa, have you ever seen such a shameless woman? Proposing to a man. She forced Jiang Zhao to that extent in front of so many people. If she hadn't jumped out like this, would Jiang Zhao have married her? It's impossible. Even if he wanted to marry her, he would have waited for Yun Hongwei's case to be over. It would have been at least a year or two. If that was the case, wouldn't I have had a chance if I noticed something amiss in a year or two? My chances were all snatched away by Yunyi. It's all her fault. I hate her to death. Ouyang Xing couldn't help but feel sad. He reached out his old hand to wipe away the tears on Ouyang Yan's face. Yun Yan, Grandpa told you a long time ago, Grandpa, I know. If I had known that Jiang Zhao liked a shameless person like Yunyi, I wouldn't have left Haiqing to go crazy. I would have just become a shameless lunatic like Yunyi. Yun Yan, Grandpa, don't ask me about the child. Anyway, I insist that it's Jiang Zhao's. Then can Jiang Zhao admit to this matter? I insist that it's his. He can't do anything about it. Ouyang Yan gritted her teeth. She would bribe the doctor. It was something that couldn't be done without money. On the way back to the office, Jiang Zhao received a call from Xiaoya. Xiaoya didn't mean to call Jiang Zhao. Instead, she called Yi Er first. Yi Er told her about Ouyang Yan's reaction in the hospital and felt a little upset. Xiaoya understood Yi Er a little. After all, she was young and easily moved. Moreover, Yi Er lacked love and care. She would remember anyone who treated her well. Yi Er was a woman who knew how to be grateful. At this juncture, Ouyang Yan's exoneration of Jiang Zhao had undoubtedly tipped the scales in Yi Er's heart. However, a bystander could see things clearly. If this matter had happened to her, she might have been moved as well. However, Xiaoya was surprisingly cold-blooded at this moment. Especially when she thought of Ouyang Xing's face, she got angry. She felt that there wasn't a single good person in that nest. Yi Er couldn't make sense of it. She felt that she should give Jiang Zhao a heads up. She told him about what had happened in the hospital just now. The embryo and other things had been arranged, but she was worried that there might be a change in the situation. It was best to keep an eye on it. Jiang Zhao was slightly doubtful. Jiang Zhao, don't be silly. You and Yi Er are the ones involved, anyone would feel guilty. After all, you were the one who lost the child. No matter if it's you or Yi Er, you'll definitely feel even more guilty if Ouyang Yan doesn't pursue the matter. Even if you didn't feel guilty at the start, I'm afraid you'll feel that you've let her down. But let me tell you, the child isn't yours, which is why she's so soft. When the time comes, there won't be any evidence left. Xiaoya felt that other than making a lot of money, she had also heard a lot of gossip. The secrets of those rich and powerful families were especially pleasant to hear. What kind of methods, what kind of opportunities, what kind of thoughts, what kind of strategies. It was as if she was watching a melodramatic 8 o'clock TV drama every day. It was as if she had done something bad and suddenly changed for the better. It might not necessarily be because she had discovered her conscience, but it might become worse. She had to remind the young couple of this problem. Therefore, she had to remind this couple that it was very necessary to sound the alarm. After all, Jiang Zhao was a man. He hardened his heart faster than a woman. Just now, he had let his emotions get the better of him. Intuitively, he felt that Ouyang Yen wouldn't pursue the matter anymore. Now that he thought about it carefully, he felt a little uneasy. Actually, regardless of whether they pursued the matter or not, this matter would be troublesome in the future. If they pursued the matter, it would be fine if it wasn't his child, but what if it was? If they didn't pursue the matter, then it could be said that it was 100% his child. Both choices had risks, but after all, he trusted his own judgment more. The DNA test had to be done. This concerned his future life, and he didn't want Yi Er to have a knot in her heart. Okay, I will keep an eye on this matter. After Jiang Zhao agreed, he sighed and said, Xiaoya, I'll have to trouble you. It's no trouble at all. I'm just free. Just take good care of Yi Er. Night came early in February in Haiqing. After dinner, the Qin family called and requested that Jiang Zhao and Yi Er return to the mansion. Yi Er felt uneasy. After that, the two of them pretended to be relaxed as they entered the mansion. Both of them knew that nothing good would happen if they were asked to return to the mansion after dinner. They entered the main hall of the proper Chinese-style central room. Qin Rongfang was sitting at the head of the main hall with a blank expression. And when Ouyang Xing sat at the head of the first guest seat, Yi Er thought to himself, so this matter still came knocking on our door. Yi Er held on to Jiang Zhao's hand and refused to let go. It was rare for Qin Zhen to attend such a debating event. Last time, she knew that Jiang Liqin was going to blow up, so she didn't come to watch. It was useless even if she did, and she couldn't stop him. Today, she didn't ask Jiang Liqin to come and went herself. Actually, Jiang Liqin didn't want to come either. After the previous beating, just thinking about it in the middle of the night made his heart ache. His son was almost 30 years old, but he still whipped him in the saddle in front of so many people. When he saw his daughter-in-law crying like that, he also felt heartache. He regretted it so much that his intestines were twisted together. Ouyang Xing went straight to the point and said seriously, Jiang Zhao, Yun said that the child is yours. Yi Er suddenly hugged Jiang Zhao's arm with a frightened expression. Qin Zhen saw all of this. She knew that this girl was usually proper, but one look at her eyes and she could tell that she was very cunning and strange. At this moment, she was afraid. She was just afraid. There was no other impurity in her eyes. On the other hand, her son didn't seem to be flustered. Qin Zhen sat on the first seat opposite Ouyang Xing. The two of them faced each other. Logically speaking, Qin Zhen was a junior. She shouldn't be sitting on the same seat as Ouyang Xing, but she also felt a weight in her heart. To be honest, no one had dared to bully her son like this in her life. Jiang Zhao was brought to Haiqing by her when he was 14 years old. Who had schemed against him like this? If she really indulged her son like the wives of other wealthy families, Jiang Zhao would have slept with more than 100 women by now. It wouldn't be the family Ouyang's turn to make irresponsible remarks. Not to mention that everyone knew that they had been set up, even if they really slept with him, so what? Marry? It also depended on whether she, as his mother, was willing or not. When Ouyang Yen stood in front of her and objected to Yi Er marrying into the family, she felt that even if Yi Er's family background wasn't compatible, she still couldn't accept Ouyang Yen. A good horse wouldn't turn back to graze on old grass, not to mention that this grass had legs and ran on its own. Child. What child? She didn't understand. Qin Jin glared at Jiang Zhao and Yi Er, not allowing them to speak. At this moment, she looked at Ouyang Xing and beamed with joy. She was clearly a social expert. Her voice sounded respectful and a little teasing. Fourth master, you have to be gentler when you speak. My daughter-in-law is pregnant. No matter what, the child in her stomach is the Jiang family's legitimate young master or Little Mississippi. If she's scared to death, that would be a big deal. Come and see. Xinwu 799. Chapter 655. Qin Zhen was a strong woman who had been through hundreds of battles. Although her marriage was not a happy one, her ex-husband did not remarry all these years and had been staying in High City. It was said that he had feelings for the army and liked this military region because he had many comrades. However, in the past 10 years, the Qin family knew that Jiang Liqing had many opportunities to be transferred to a bigger military region. Some things did not need to be said out loud. Everyone knew. Therefore, Qin Zhen was not only proud of her successful career, but also of two other things. There was a man waiting for her. She could be proud. She was very satisfied with her son. He was the second son of the Jiang family in Jiang district, the grandson of Old Master Qin in High City, the son of Commander Jiang in the military region, and the son of the chairman of Golden Investment. These were the titles that Jiang Zhao had before he was born into society. Later, more and more people would introduce Qin Zhen to others. This was Jiang Zhao's mother, Qin Zhen. When she first heard others introduce her like this, she felt that her eyes were sore. She felt that she had not lived her life in vain. Her son had become successful. She had always been proud, including when she divorced Jiang Liqing and now when Ouyang Xing came to her door to ask her son to take responsibility. As a businessman, face was just a decoration. Qin Zhen sat opposite Ouyang Xing. After saying this, she felt happy. Ouyang Xing snorted and turned to Qin Rongfang, who was sitting in the main seat. Old Qin, I'm afraid this matter can't be delayed any longer. Qin Rongfang and Ouyang Xing had been friends for decades. It could not be compared to the life-and-death friendship with Xi Jintian and Old Master Jiang, but they had done many mutually beneficial business deals. He knew that it was not appropriate for him to say what Qin Jin could say. Even if Old Master Jiang was sitting here, he would be the same as him. Sometimes, when a woman stepped forward, things were always easier to solve than a man. Qin Rongfang turned his head and handed the teacup in his hand to Uncle Wu as if he did not hear him. He said unhappily, Old Wu, what kind of weather is this? How can I drink the tea when it's cold? Go and change it to a hot one. Ouyang Xing felt that he had been defeated. Qin Jin reached out to Yi Er and waved. She smiled and said, Daughter-in-law, come to Mom. Yi Er was dazed for a moment. Mom. Qin Jin's attitude towards her had always been lukewarm. Yi Er knew the reason behind this. It was impossible for such an aristocratic family to not mind one's birth. Although she was lukewarm, she had never deliberately made things difficult for her. When she was being attacked from both sides, her mother-in-law warmly called herself mother. Yi Er recalled how Zhou was so angry that her father was still lying in the hospital. Tears flowed out of her eyes. Jiang Zhao gave Yi Er a push, and Yi Er walked over to Qin Zhen. Qin Zhen was still seated. Other than Qin Rongfang, who was pretending to be a fool, Qin Zhen had the dignified aura of a head of the family. However, her speech was still very appropriate. Her voice was cheerful and heartwarming. She reached out to hold Yi Er's hand and nestled it in her palm. She was smiling more than angry, and there was even some doting. In my opinion, our family's Xiao Zhao is the best. Daughter-in-law, do you agree? Yi Er bit her lip and nodded obediently. Qin Zhen took a piece of tissue from the small table between the guest seats. She raised her head and stretched out her arm to wipe the tears that had just rolled out of Yi Er's eyes. As your mother, I didn't bully you. Don't cry. If you cry, Xiao Xiao will think that I pinched you and will make trouble with me. After saying this, she should have glanced at Jiang Zhao. However, Qin Zhen glanced at Ouyang Xing. The more Qin Zhen looked at Ouyang Xing's uncomfortable expression, the more she felt comfortable. Mom, Jiang Zhao won't think that way. Yi Er was still young after all. She was afraid that her mother-in-law would misunderstand that she had instigated her husband. She would never have thought that Qin Zhen was trying to provoke Ouyang Xing. Daughter-in-law, you were the one who begged to marry our family's Xiao Zhao back then. Qin Zhen kept calling her daughter-in-law, but usually, she would call her Yi Er. At this time, she was begging to be married, and her tone was especially heavy. Ouyang Xing snorted disdainfully. Yi Er lowered her head even more. At this time, Jiang Zhao also stopped standing. He smiled a little happily and sat down on the guest seat next to Qin Zhen. The servant came over to help Jiang Zhao pour tea. You begged to marry our family's Xiao Zhao. You must think that he is a good man and someone you can rely on, right? Mom, you're right. Yi Er's voice was very soft and very soft. She seemed very embarrassed and very touched. In my opinion, your conditions are not very good. As soon as Qin Zhen said this, Jiang Zhao coughed violently. Yi Er's face immediately turned very red. Ouyang Xing smiled proudly. Qin Rongfang was very good at pretending to be a fool. When drinking tea, it was either cold or hot. It was either that the tea leaves were not chosen well or that the water used was not good enough. Qin Zhen burst out laughing. But your figure is really good. I took a look. Among the daughters of the wealthy families in High City, your figure is the best. You're not the tallest, but you're not short either. Wear a pair of beautiful high heels and match our Xiao Zhao's height. Qin Zhen slapped her thigh and laughed with satisfaction. She raised her voice and said, what a match. Yi Er sighed. Fortunately, her figure was not bad. Her mother-in-law liked her. She was so scared that she was about to sweat. Actually, I think that among the daughters of the wealthy families in High City, the one with the best face is the girl from the Shen family. She's going to be a disaster in the future. Yes, the one with the most character is the girl that family Min brought back a few years ago. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's so spicy that I can't take it. Qin Zhen rambled on for a long time. She said so much that Yi Er felt inferior. However, she did not say which of the Ouyang Yen was the best. Qin Zhen looked at Yi Er and paused. She said, daughter-in-law, look, people say that men are either animals or animals. Why didn't our Xiao Zhao marry the girl from the Shen family? Why didn't he wait to marry the girl from family Min? This thing is about fate, isn't it? Yi Er was still obedient. She nodded. Yes, Mom. When fate exists, you have to cherish it. Although you begged to marry our Xiao Zhao, and our Xiao Zhao dotes on you now, if you don't cherish this fate, you will pass. The most changeable thing in this world is a person's heart, especially a man's heart. I don't want to put in a good word for my son. Xiao Zhao has the bad habits that all men have. He's not special, nor is he an exception. There's no man who doesn't like beautiful women. There's always something about you that attracts him visually. I don't believe that he saw the kindness in you first, but whether he will open his heart to you in the future depends on whether you work hard. If you don't cherish him with his qualities, there will be other women who can attract him more than you to enter his life and beg to marry him. If you let go and miss this opportunity, he will live with another woman in the future. Even if you put up a brave front or trample your face under your feet and beg him to turn back, he won't look at you. I understand my son's temper. You can't give him such a chance, do you understand? Yi stared at her mother-in-law in a daze. This woman, this shrewd woman, was reminding her, sounding the alarm for her, and hinting at Ouyang with every word. Didn't her mother-in-law's words refer to the relationship between her, Ouyang and Jiang Zhao? Ouyang missed it. Jiang Zhao was living with her now. Ouyang used all kinds of shameless means to get Jiang Zhao again, but Jiang Zhao wouldn't turn back. Her mother-in-law was cold-blooded and ruthless in her analysis of Jiang Zhao, making Jiang Zhao cold-blooded and ruthless, but it also made her feel motivated. Her mother-in-law was supporting her to protect her marriage. The most changeable thing was a person's heart, especially a man's heart. When it came to marriage, no one was more arrogant and no one had more power. It had to be cherished. It was only now that Yi understood what was going on. Sister Zhen, if you say this about me, she won't believe me in the future. Jiang Zhao was really speechless. These women's words were really harsh. They simply described him as Chin Shimi. Whether she believes you or not, it's up to her. If she doesn't believe you, it's useless no matter how much you say. If she believes you, she can tell from your words and actions whether you treat her well. If she's a heartless woman who can't see the good in you and still chooses to leave you, if you don't want such a woman, your mother won't recognize her. Qin Zhen looked at Jiang Zhao for the first half of her words, and looked at Ouyang for the second half. Then, she smiled meaningfully. Ouyang gripped the hard mahogany armrest tightly. The decoration of the main hall was too retro. The high seats were like those of the rich families in the past, offering incense for the positions of heaven, earth, monarch, parents, and teachers. The smell of incense ashes and candles in the main hall was complex and intertwined. Jiang Zhao saw that Yi's back was not as stiff as before, and his heart relaxed a little. He knew that his mother was not scolding Yi, but he was still worried that Yi would think too much. Ouyang only felt that the women of the Jiang family and the Qin family were powerful. People said that men should prosper, but both times, it was the women of these two families who stood out to argue with him. Last time, it was old Madame Jiang. This time, Qin Zhen and the men of the Jiang and Qin families were all dead, so they called the women out to talk. They made him, a man, talk about trivial matters with these women. Qin Zhen, by right, you call me fourth uncle. During this time, you called me fourth master, and Jiang Zhao called me fourth master. If the Jiang and Qin families want to mess up the seniority, I don't want to interfere, but the child is miscarried. Qin Zhen stroked Yi's abdomen and looked at Ouyang eyes with a worried expression. She said unhappily, "Fourth uncle, I called you fourth uncle. As an elder, how can you be so vicious? My daughter-in-law is still young, and the ancestors of the Qin family are worshipped in this main hall. I don't like to hear you curse my daughter-in-law. I'm already so old, and I'm going to hold a grandson soon. How did we offend you?" She wanted to accuse him. Ouyang wanted to slap this noble mahogany chair. If the person talking to him today was Jiang Liqing or Qin Rongfang, it would be a contest between men, women. They did not speak according to common sense. They were indeed villains. Ad Songshu 566. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.